Right. So, if I remember rightly, I've slightly forgotten. My brain's a bit muddled. Last time I let you all long rest, you just woken up in the morning. That's where we ended it, if I remember rightly. Is that correct?
Basically, we meet up around 11 and make our way to Levi's.
Around 11. Okay.
Yep, that's what you said.
Cool. That's what I thought. First of all, I want to do something. I'm going to take each person individually to the secret room. I want to talk to each of you individually, just very quickly, about psych. I'll tell you more when I'm there. So I'm just going to take you in order of the list you're in. And I'm just going to drag you in and then drag you out, okay?
Hello.
Hello. So today I am doing something. The thing that's going to happen that could be good or bad, you do not know. What I'm doing is I'm getting people to give me dice rolls for what's going to determine some of the things today, and I'm getting people to roll them now rather than during the thing, because if I do them during the thing, asking at a particular point potentially ruins things happening. So I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it now. So what I've basically said to everyone is I'm going to take these, and then we're going to essentially start the match after this as such, and these are going to determine what's happening. Okay, today's game.
All right.
These are going to determine in there somewhere. First thing I need from you is a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit! Oh, this is going to be good.
You're at -1. I can already see that.
No, mate.
What is
it? 6.
6. So is that 5?
No, 6. 5. 6, I rolled 7, and then the -1 is.
You rolled 7. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Then what I also need is I'm going to do the calculations for what's after this. I just want you to roll a d20. You're not going to know what it's for.
3. This fucking dice, man. I've had all my good rolls out of it. That's it. It's done.
All right, and I need one more as well. Same thing again. I need 2 of them essentially.
Oh, mate.
So when you roll 3 dice, you got over a 10.
Nope.
What is it?
2.
That one's at no minus, yeah? That's just a straight 20 and you're telling me the answer.
Yeah, 2. The same as last one. You said, yeah. So I've rolled I rolled a 7, a 3, and a 2. So on 3d20, on the 3d20, it might be good. Yeah, they might be misses against me.
It might be good, or it might be for a roll that you've actually got a good bonus in. You never know.
God, I hope so. Even that's going to be, oh, God.
One day I'm going to do a similar thing, and it'll be like, if you get low, then it's good, and you're going to roll. You're going to roll high, and I'm going to be like, no, he's let me down. Right, okay. Last thing, I'm going to put you back in the room, and I'm also going to jump in the room. I've asked everyone not to talk about the rolls you've made just now.
Yep.
But at the end of the session, potentially you can all talk about it. That's fine. I just want to get through today's session without discussing this bit. But I'm going to move us back into the room, and then we're going to pretty much start. Okay.
Okay. Let me put. Yeah, my dice is back. Yeah, go on.
Action.
Cool.
Bradley's back.
Hopefully my internet won't go off today like it did last time. Just at the moment we're doing chatty, so at this very point it's not a.
I've got to turn my camera back on.
I know, but you got to have the music in the background, didn't you?
Well, yeah,
that's what it is.
There you go.
Am I correct, Stuart? This is session 23.
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Or Andy takes notes. Either way, that would do.
This is actually session 23. Wow.
Yeah, I've got a big long list on my thing here, and that's why I just wanted to check that I haven't gone wrong somewhere here. Right. Okay. So last off, kind of, you essentially come out from all the ambush that you had the day before, went back to the Wyvern Inn. You managed to meet Balasar on the way back to the Wyvern Inn, but then he was carrying off to the North Gate on some sort of business. Then you all kind of went to go sleep, and in the middle of the night, 2 of you obviously were woken by 2 different things, which then kind of all tallied up, and you all went to investigate, finding the bakery on fire, and also finding a guard who had been wounded in some sort of attack. The information you kind of got was hooded, kind of figured humanoids. So at the moment you haven't really got a lot of information. Although at the same time, from there you immediately then thought about checking on Levi. So immediately, kind of doing a bit of an assessment. Then you went to check on Levi. When you got to Levi's, without kind of refusing to take no for an answer, you pretty much made sure you could go and physically see that he was okay. And upon pretty much all of you going in, if I remember rightly, all of you went in, and a few of you managed to get to see Levi, at which point he came out, and all of you got to kind of see him in flesh. So you all was happy enough that he was alive. But considering that reports were starting to come in to do with the fire and everything, Levi had essentially said to you that let's catch up in the morning and have a proper debrief about what's going on. He said he has some information for you that may be useful. So from there, you guys essentially decided that's probably the best idea. Went back to go and get an actual proper sleep. Because you'd got up and interrupted your sleep, essentially meant that you had to sleep for a lot longer. So hence the 11 o'clock now, waking up all gathering, and you're on your way back to Levi's house. So that's where we start.
Brad, would I have enough? Would I have had enough time to find out what this is? It? Am I saying this right? A casp from the Cape to identify it, or clasp?
Oh, the class thing. Would you have enough time to do what with it?
To understand what it is, like value or anything like that, or would I need to ask Samuel?
Enough time.
As in, I want to find out, see if it's magical, if there's any sort of magical device on it or anything like that.
You can cast Detect Magic, can't you?
I thought you worked out that it was magical, didn't you?
No, I don't think I gave any answers as to whether it's magical or not. I think I just
round studied, no, yeah, okay. I can't detect. I can, but I haven't got it.
Okay, I'd say in that time, probably not, because you was waking up, doing your props, prayers, and that sort of stuff. But now you probably have time in the sense that you're walking to Levi's. That takes 5-10 minutes to kind of get there as such. So if you want, you can speak to others or whatnot.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to Sammy about. I'll show Sammy it as we're walking. Because it's also broken in some sort in one point, right?
It's missing a pin.
Oh, it's missing a pin.
You've got one pin in it, and the one pin you can see doesn't look like it's as good a quality as the metal of the chain itself. The pin itself looks like as if it's just probably a basic steel pin that you could lose and replace, sort of thing. So you've got one of them, but you're missing one of them essentially.
So I go to Sammy and see if he can.
Brad, I'll have a look at it before we set out. It'll take me 10 minutes just to quickly cast a ritual identify on it. So before we leave, I'll just have a mooch at it, Brad, in me. Come on down, you come. And I'll cast identify.
In terms of identify, I never realised originally that there is a cost to identify. Which
was it?
Yeah, which I don't know if in our other game they've scrapped it, and that's why we don't use it.
But does he get it? Does he get identify it? Has he picked it as a spell? Does he get it as a sub? Like, is it ability for him or a race ability?
I would say that identify is magic items and stuff like that. So that is essentially more.
But it's.
No. What I was going to say was identify itself, as far as I can see, is 100 gold to cast, which is a bit extreme.
No, it's not. It's a pearl. You only have to have it as a component. A pearl worth at least 100 gold, but it's not consumed, is it?
Does it? If it says this is consumed as part of the thing, then it's consumed. If it
doesn't,
then you just need one pearl.
Yeah. And an owl feather, so you know.
You could take one of my feathers, pretend it's an owl feather.
Just want to double check what you're saying, Shu. make sure that's definitely the case.
Did you also pick it as a spell, David, or was it?
Yeah.
Okay, you picked it as a spell. Okay.
Yeah, because it's part of my traveling around and
you didn't get it because you
buying
were
and selling.
a robot dude.
No,
Oh,
unfortunately not. No, didn't get no magical
like I get
scanning eye.
detect force because of my
Okay.
feet and stuff like that. So
No.
okay.
No, it's part of my story.
Mm-hmm.
Going around buying, selling. I got to know what I'm buying. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there is something that consumes something that I have as well.
I know some, but then them ones are big, so that's
Revivify is the
Have a
one
look
that
at that.
consumes.
Revivify.
Yeah, that consumes 300 gems worth,
no,
300 golds worth of
other
diamond.
spells that are not quite that big.
Right. Okay.
I sent you the Sage Advice post, Brad.
Can you tell me what
does that say?
A spell doesn't consume its material component to the description says it does.
Okay, cool. Okay, so do you have that spell, David? Is the main thing?
Of course I do. Why would I not have it?
100 gold worth of pearl.
Yeah. Do I have 100 gold?
Do you have? Have you had 100 gold's worth to have that?
He's so picky, isn't he?
Well, it's quite an expensive item for me just to randomly go, "Oh, you've got that, yes."
To be fair, he is the jeweler, he is a wanderer, and also he's got a lot of money.
Would you have
out
given
of
it
all
to
of
him?
us, he would be the person that would be able to pick one up and purchase one.
Yes, but if he did, he may lose something else in the process, sort of thing. Remember, I gave you all a certain something.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like the strictness here from the DM, from the gods above.
I'm sorry. I went through it and I didn't realize myself, and then I was like, "Oh, okay."
No, that's fine.
I was thinking
that's cool.
I was thinking a way of changing it. I wasn't just going to make it as I thought first, but you've told me something that I wasn't quite thinking of. So it just comes down to the fact that you would need to get the pearl, I think.
All right, I can't cast Identify on it yet, mate.
But like I was going to say at the same time as that, with this thing that Chris has got, Identify would be overkill anyway. If you cast Detect Magic, you'll know it's not magical anyway. So you can tell it pretty much just by as you handle it. It's not as you have it in your hands. You can see it's not a caliber enough to be like a magical item. Normally, a magical item is extremely fine in some way. It doesn't tarnish, doesn't unsharpen, stuff like this. You pick this one up and you can see that this one's been cleaned. You can see this has kind of got rub and polish marks on it, stuff like that.
Okay,
this is a well-worn kind of chain. So you can determine that much. But what I would say is,
can I appraise it then?
I was going to say, what's the best one we can use for appraise?
Got investigation, maybe. It's not acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, athletics, deception, history.
Acrobatics.
I would say it's got.
We can go over investigation if you want to go with that. Let's go with that. Give me
acrobatics. It's got to jump through hoops.
Yeah,
I'll put my teeth back in a minute.
You've got to climb up a wall with it to see how well it holds you up. That's how you know.
You've got to jump through hoops.
20.
Okay, you can determine that. First off, the thing that Leo seems quite concerned about is the fact that a piece of it's missing. He seems very kind of worried about that. You can tell that the pin itself is just a standard steel pin. It's something you could make very quickly in an afternoon, sort of thing. You just need to be by your tools and you'll be able to make it. The actual chain itself is only about this long, about 3 inches or so long. You can tell that it's quite likely not silver and more likely platinum. You think probably somewhere in the range of 100 golds worth.
So Leo, it's looking at it.
Yep.
Sit around that. I think it's probably platinum and worth. Although it's only a small chain, because it's platinum, it's probably worth about 100 gold, and it doesn't appear to have any magical properties that I can detect. So
He points at the pin. He's quite disturbed at the pin.
no, there's definitely no magical aura about it.
Yeah.
And if you're disturbed by it, all I can suggest is just to sell it on, my friend. Get rid of it. Sell it for 100 gold, and they can have.
You haven't seen him wearing this before. You have no idea where it's come from. You're now trying to think in your brain, and your brain remembers. Like, I don't remember him wearing this. Is he broke it and he's thinking, where's it come from?
No,
your memory knows he wasn't wearing it.
He could just have it in his bag. It may not be something that he keeps.
Yeah, might not be wearing it because it's broken. Fair enough. Very optimistic of you.
So I mean, I can try and fix it for you if you want.
No. He doesn't like the pin on it. He's trying to take the pin off, Brad.
The other pin just slides out. It literally just is 2 pins that essentially slide in to hook it onto a cape on the 2 sides. So effectively, one of them will stay on, and the other one you just hook on, kind of thing.
Yeah, he takes off the pin and throws it.
Okay. He's messing about over these little things, and then next thing you know, he just takes it and throws it over his shoulder as you're walking along.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just get rid of the pin, not the actual chain, Brad. I'll keep the chain.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna add it to my inventory anyway.
Yeah, put platinum cape clasp.
Okay.
Broken now.
Yeah.
You can add that either at the bottom or in your inventory anywhere.
Isn't it just a platinum chain now if it's got no pins on it?
No, because it's still got like 2 kind of like almost like clasps type things where the pins go through the back of, and they've got like little like anchor kind of things, as in like a nautical kind of theme to what the design of the chain or the ends of the chain are. Parts that hold the cloak together.
Cool. Thanks for that. Thank you, Sammy.
And as I said, I rolled, and I rolled very good.
No worries.
Yeah.
Didn't you roll? If I remember right, you rolled, and you rolled very good.
Okay.
You rolled a 20.
A lot of times I'll do rolls for lots of things like that. Yeah, okay, so that's what that is.
Perfect.
We ain't got anything else that needs looking at, do we?
I don't believe so. Also,
I've got this rash.
Also, just the identifier thing. It slightly went wrong in the sense that I was the one who gave you the information for the items you identified, but I gave you that outside of the game. You didn't even have to cast identifier, so hence I didn't have to look at it. So that's what, at some point, I came across it in between now and then, like a week ago or so, and I was like, argh. So that's essentially, I was just wanting to point out that originally you didn't actually cast it. I'd actually just told you what the items were anyway, because of the time. I'd kind of give it to you, so we'll just fluff it in some way that you knew what they were.
Fair enough, mate. No worries.
So yeah, anyone got anything else you want to do? So you're on your way, I'm guessing, walking to Levi's at the moment.
Yes.
Anyone that's got anything they want to do en route?
No. Think of.
No, not really.
I'll keep an eye out for a pearl worth 100 gold.
In this kind of location, it won't be too hard to find with the market and
being on the sea.
Yeah, but also the docks and the fact it's quite a trade kind of heavy place.
I'll, as if we go past anyone, Brad, that I know, then I'll start putting feelers out for it. See if someone can grab me a pearl for 100 gold. They know who I am, don't they?
Yeah, I need to check. A few of them do.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Some of them are
No.
I just need to find my calendar. Yeah, the market would be there if you want to make a quick detour. As you come out of Wyvern, the market is essentially ahead of you. So we'll say that Leo has pretty much come to you at the point when you're all gathering, sort of thing, rather than walking. So if you want to deter the party, then you can obviously, or you can go off on your own to the market to see if you can find that.
I will go with Sammy as well if the party's happy with that. So
Yeah.
What, the rest of the party going to carry on, or going to go with Sammy?
I don't mind having a nosy at the market.
The market's just full of all kinds of things, essentially.
It's all just stay together makes it easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a couple of stalls that you've spotted before that had some magical scrolls on them. Don't ask me to say what they were because I'd have to go and look at a video to find out what they were.
What were the
scrolls? Now I'm interested in buying a scroll. You see,
I'm going to assume you don't want them now, and we're just going to pass over that.
I don't think we've got scroll kind of money, have we, at the moment?
You didn't have then, no. So
no.
I think the
I'm not even sure I've got food and drink money.
You have now. You got money for that last time, so you have now.
No, but he's paid it all out.
No, he's been paying it all back.
No, yeah. You're just poor. You're just going to have to go begging.
Oh my god!
In one hand, straight out the other.
Yeah, blimey.
Yeah,
a bit like payday.
Yeah, I look for cheap stalls for food for breakfast as we're going along.
There is a not a bakery, but there is a pastry store there. They're not terribly expensive.
So I'll buy your
meat pie, sausage rolls, kind of pastry type things with
breakfast
icing and
pie
stuff
sounds good.
It's not quite the food caliber you'd get in the Wyvern Inn, but it's not bad. Say
no, I'm used to stall food.
Say 2 silver for a pie.
It's either that or it's your own food, isn't it, mate?
Exactly that, yes. Yeah, okay. I've got my pie. I'm happy again. Yeah, I'm just following them.
Okay, I need more markers in my book.
We're looking for pearl, Brad.
Brad, I don't think you really need to go looking for it. I want a pearl, and it needs to be 100 gold. You don't need to find it in the book. It's not even like I can bargain it down, can I? Because if I bargain it down to 90 gold,
it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's only a 90 gold piece worth of oyster.
The gods know, Dave.
Yeah. I spotted that down.
Yeah,
that's
sorry, mate. You find a pearl worth 99 gold, and another one's worth 101 gold.
Yeah.
Oh, the 100 gold one. No, mate. Sorry, I sold that yesterday.
Yeah. Neither of them work.
Yeah, okay. If you've got 100 gold, you find on one of the jewelry stores, you find someone who's got a pearl.
Cool.
Right, I'm going to the jewelry store as well with Sammy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking for 2 platinum rings worth 50 gold each.
Oh, that's a spell component if ever I've seen it.
Huh?
That wasn't what you bought before, was it?
No, it's just I bought them before, yeah. The same.
50 gold each?
Yes, sir.
What are they, platinum?
Platinum rings.
They're some sort of conversational piece, aren't they?
Does it have to be a specific type of platinum ring or just a platinum ring?
A platinum ring.
Okay, yeah, I'd say you can find a few of them.
If you want to make it look a bit more, put a bit of flavour on them, but it's up to you. I don't mind.
And I'm looking for a stall with 3 turtle doves.
And a partridge in the pear tree.
In terms of things like jewelry, especially of just a platinum ring, wouldn't be too hard to come by. You'll find multiple kind of rings and necklaces and all that sort of stuff. Like I said, this is essentially a trade town, and in this market, you'll get those kind of mundane things. If you go looking for magical items, you probably won't be so thingy there, but more the mundane things, especially like a pearl, like plain platinum rings, all that sort of stuff. You'll find them sort of things here.
I like that. I found a pearl, and it was actually worth 100 gold pieces. That's not bad, is it?
Brad, I would like to.
I mean on the app, on the thingy.
Oh, okay. You know,
in Beyond.
In the actual thing, it comes up. A pearl is worth 100 gold.
100 gold, yeah. That's
what I was looking on the thing. There's different gemstones, and in it, that is what that one is. What was that, Chris?
If I find them,
yeah.
I'd like to trade in the platinum clasp for those 2 rings. Yeah.
What was the clasp?
100 gold's worth.
Just went through that. That's exactly.
Don't go looking in your book again, mate.
Still haven't looked in a book. And go,
It's like he's styling it out because he's like, oh fuck yeah, we've just literally finished that discussion.
Okay, the person you're trying to sell them to, Chris, isn't the person who you bought them off, and he will give you 90 gold for them.
I thought you were saying
Okay.
the person you're selling them back to isn't the person you stole it off of.
Yeah. It is the person that I stole it off of.
It is. It's like, oh, not this stall.
I thought you meant as in something you've bought before, and then you're selling it. I didn't realise you meant that thing. Okay.
No, yeah, the class.
How many 100 platinum gold pieces, or how many 100 platinum class do you think he's got?
I got confused. I thought because he was talking about pairs, and I thought he said like 2 thingies, and I was just like, oh, okay. Anyway, moving on. You can sell it at 100. They will take it for 100.
Okay, and then I'll buy if these got platinum rings, I'll have a look around, and I'll take 2 of those.
Okay, you can do a straight swap. They'll swap you for them.
Perfect.
So
I'll get rid of that. Delete that. Okay, that's gone, and now I've got Fenton's with us, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I give Fenton one of the platinum rings.
Cool.
And I wear the other one.
So, Stu, you can either write that in your inventory or you can put it down the bottom because it won't affect weight or anything like that. So either in your inventory, in your backpack, you can put it. So you're wearing it. He has to be wearing it, doesn't he, Chris?
He has to be wearing it, yeah.
Fenton, Fenton,
put it in your equipment.
This is reminding me of a spell, Fenton. I think it's going to help you. So you need to wear the ring, mate.
Oh, no, I'll wear it.
That's right, isn't it, Leo?
Ring.
Yes,
the question is, Chris,
yes, Sammy.
Is it, Chris, a nice, manly kind of band sort of thing, or is it a bit feminine with a bit of filigree and all sorts of other things? It's up to you. What did you buy?
So I've got one that's all nice and spangly, but the other one that's a bit worn. The one I gave to Fenton.
That sounds about right.
A bit to his character.
There you go.
Mine's all shiny, Brad. It has to be shiny.
Yeah. Your one's gleaming a bit.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you.
Your one feels a bit like it might have costume gems in it, Chris, and they glitter ever so much. It almost doesn't seem like the real gemstones because of it. But it is ever so pretty in the light.
Fenton strong.
Definitely platinum, though.
Stronger.
Stronger? Good.
Okay. I'm done.
Okay. Anyone else need anything else?
Nope.
No.
Hold on. Is it a platinum ring worth 50 gold, or is it a platinum ring worth 50 platinum?
50 gold, mate.
Yeah. 50 platinum's a bit much.
He said it's a bit warm.
That's for platinum.
He didn't say he was getting married here. He said it was a bit warm.
Bradley's got some bling on him now.
It's a bit warm.
I don't care. It's a gift. I'm wearing it.
It's probably platinum plated for 50
Yeah.
It's costume jewelry.
You can wear it around your neck if you've got a chain. As long as you're wearing it, mate.
You want to wear it around your neck. And potentially gets in the way of other things around your neck.
Yeah.
Rope. Okay, so we're on the way to Levi's now, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, unless anyone wants anything to do. You arrive at Levi's. Let's just put you on the map so that you're somewhere, because you're for real feeling lost without a map.
I've got my spear and shield out, Brad.
You're coming for a briefing.
No.
Just to forewarn people, if you hear me going, it's because I found a coffee Revel.
Yes, we know you're in the
I like the coffee Revels, man. What's wrong with you?
They're fucking disgusting.
They're horrible.
Why'd you buy them?
Well, because the other Revels are nice.
Surprise.
It's the reason why I don't buy them.
Yeah, but then you're missing out on the strawberry Revels.
And the minstrels. And the toffee ones.
No, the toffee ones you can tell because they're smaller and harder.
Yeah, but you can also tell the pebble.
You can normally just bite the chocolate off and see the colour inside.
No, I bite it in half and then I get the coffee taste on my lips and it still goes.
But you drink coffee.
Yeah, exactly, weirdo.
I drink lots of coffee. I don't eat anything coffee though.
You don't have coffee cake? Oh, Stu,
Fuck off.
But mind you, I don't like coffee cake or coffee sweets.
Oh,
Blech.
yeah.
Right. Let's see what this one is.
Blech.
Malteser.
How do I take off concentration on my character?
You always know what Maltesers are as well because they're massive.
Here you go. Take all that stuff off your tokens, guys.
No, mine's my
You've
mage
got stuff
armor.
on your tokens. Take them off, unless you've recast something.
Mine's mage armor, isn't it?
Strawberry.
Yeah. So if you want, you can have that still on, but remember it's 8 hours.
Yep.
8 hours.
I'm keeping my mage armor on, please.
Make sure you tick off your spell slot, Candy.
Yep. Right. Mage armor.
Okay, so you all come up to the door. The guards are all still around. The guards you saw last night, either the same ones or switched ones. None of you really paid attention, even you, Phantom, to their faces enough to see who's who. They generally just blend into the crowd. There are some you know more. You know the scout one and Rogot, the big kind of more bruiser one who follows around Balasar. As for the rest, they just all blend in. They're just wearing... Most of them are wearing a kind of similar uniform of... Most of them have like a... Not quite a full chainmail, more like a chain shirt and kind of like leathery type leggings. They're not quite proper leather armor as such. And the leather of the leggings are kind of blue, and then underneath their actual kind of chain shirt thing, they've got like a blue kind of under kind of gambit type thing, and then they're wearing kind of like typical metal type guard helmet sort of things. Not full face covering, just like top of their head, just sun protection sort of thing. And then, like I said, the other thing you've seen is there's scout type guards as well that are in kind of full leather. All right, so you get up to the door. As I said, the guards still seem posted about in lots of different directions. As you're walking up, Fenton, you're taking a particular note. You can still, just on the way to the property, kind of up the hill, you notice some still roaming type patrols going on. So you can see that that's still kind of happening. You get to the door. I'm guessing you knock on the door.
Yep.
If there's a guard there, I just say, "Morning, lads. Which brass is on duty now?"
They look at you.
As in officer, not a fucking whore.
Who's what? They seem confused.
Soldier, what's the matter?
I don't know what you're saying.
Who's the officer in charge now?
You are, sir. He looks really confused. He's like, they're expecting you. Go in.
Okay, all right. I'm just walking in.
I mean,
he seems almost a bit intimidated by you, that one.
Right.
Actually, roll an intimidation check.
Count natural 20.
An 8, but 15.
Okay, 15. Yeah, you can see he's a bit possibly young or not necessarily new and unthinking. He looks like you can see he's got some muscle on him and stuff like that. He doesn't look useless, but he definitely looks a bit more intimidated by you, and a bit confused. At this point, he kind of gets interrupted by the door opening, and there's the butler, who says, "Aha, Master Levi's expecting you. Please come on in. Come to the sitting room."
Do we know the butler's name? I would have asked because I like to know the lower people.
Yeah, I think I have it somewhere.
All right. Well, I just call him by his name and say thank you, and then let him lead us on.
What is the butler's name?
It's not relevant, mate. Don't bother looking it up if it's.
I may have it in there somewhere. I think
Yeah. No, it's fine. That's fine.
You know who he is. You recognise him because you've seen him at the party. You've seen him when you turn up. He's always the one.
I said it's more just a familiarity thing, just to make sure.
Yeah, you guys know that there's.
His name is Alfred.
Yeah, that would do.
If it's not already got a name, we'll call him Alfred. If you know there's the butler, you know there's the cook who chased Leo out of the corridor at one point in the early days. And then you know there's also a maid. So you know there's 3 staff that are always generally about. You generally see them at one point or other.
Anyone that's ever fed me or given me drink, I will remember their names. Everyone else is like all the brass, all the upper echelon of all the posh people, apart from Levi. I've got no idea what they're called.
I just remembered that you took Alcoholics Keen Mind. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Alcohol beverages, Keen Minds. That's it. So I remember people that fed me and wet me with alcohol.
Okay, so the butler essentially kind of opens both doors to you, kind of lets you in, and he points over to what is your left on this map to the kind of sitting room, of which you remember when Sammy was laying on the chair, on the bench, the sofa in there. Oh, he's just butler. There you go. You've got a name on there.
He's just butler.
Alfred the butler. If he hasn't got that, his name's just been changed. Let's pull all that.
Huzzah! Well done, Alfred. Cheers, mate.
I don't know if he had a name before that. If he did, it's gone. Now Alfred. Yeah. So, is that open? Oh.
So we're going in there, are we?
Yep, that's where he's led you into. You come in and you can see that there's the fireplace with the fire on. Not very high because you obviously don't want to be sweltering. The weather is again kind of a bit of a clear day. It's not cold. It's not particularly hot either. Levi's sitting in the chair, and as you notice as you come in, he just kind of waves you guys to come over. And Quinn is standing outside the window,
peering in.
I'm getting like error colliding with stuff when I try and move.
You're trying to walk through the wall. That's why.
Walk through the door.
Go through a door like a normal person.
See, I don't have walls either on my map at the moment. I see the shadows, but there's no. I'm just like in blank space with shadows.
What?
Oh goodness! Yeah, no, there's actual walls. You can't walk through walls.
No,
if I did that, you could have walked through the window. But yeah, there are walls, Ed, that physically block you. Okay, he points at the seats. He says, "Sit down, sit down. We can discuss. We can discuss last night's events and any extra information you can give me. I've obviously got information to share with you guys as well."
Cool.
Do you sit down or you're all standing up?
2 of them are sitting.
I'm sitting down.
I'm sitting.
I'll stand, thanks.
Who's that bloke there? The butler.
That's the butler.
Yeah, I'll stand by the window.
I'm standing guard, Brad.
Standing guard?
Yeah.
He looks around and goes, guys, there's more than enough guards around. Come on, sit down. The butler then disappears out this door here. Bloop. So he says, thank you. Firstly, thank you for coming to see if I was all right in the night. It was much appreciated. At first, it could have been seen as that you woke me up in the night, but I'm sure I would have been woken up for the different troubles that happen. So, and the information as to what happened last night, I can't remember whether you guys told him anything already. Did you tell him the bakery and the guard? Do you remember?
We said there was disturbances.
Yeah, okay. So he says to you, the attacks last night seemed to be a bakery was set on fire. There was at least 2 or 3 guards or groups of guards who were in combat, a couple of injuries, but no deaths, thankfully. We also had a boat that was sunk as well. Not one of the huge, large boats that would have made an awful racket. One of the smaller boats.
You check yours, Fenton.
One of the smaller boats. But,
no, because I didn't know any boats have been sunk.
Thankfully, no one was harmed in it. Oh, you've got a boat, haven't you, Fenton?
Oh no!
Oops.
I'll be back in a minute.
No, he says, I'm just playing with you. He says, oh, Fenton, no, don't worry, it wasn't yours. It was just a small boat coming up from one of the towns just down the coast as such. It was a small kind of trade vessel, not anything serious to worry about. The owners were fished out of the water without too much trouble. It wasn't too far out in the sea itself, so we're okay. Probably because of how small it is and that there's no real. It didn't look very well defended as such. So I imagine it came into port last night, and that was why it was jumped. It was also not down the end where yours are. Yours is moored up with the other small boats. This one came in kind of down the end. Not the cheaper end, but down the end where I believe the trouble has been going on, or at least the entrance that you're telling me that's down on the beach area down there. That seems to be where they came in and parked up or moored up. So yeah, so that's been sunk, which I'm sure I can make that up to. There's definitely a bit more fear on the streets in terms of people are now starting to talk. People are worried. Last night's attack definitely kind of it's put more than just a whisper around the townspeople. The people are kind of now worried about what is going on. They don't have all the facts, and there's rumors starting to spread. It's definitely unsettling. As for Balasar, I've spoke to him this morning. He's off out on an errand for me. In terms of what I can tell you, well, first of all, what information have you got for me, and then I can share more on what you're up against. What information do you have? Because at the moment, last we spoke, you still didn't have an awful lot of information on what was where or anything other than you all seemed a bit freaked out by a goopy thing.
We haven't told them about the rat city that we sort of found, have we?
No, because that's what I'm saying. The last time you would have spoke to him was probably about
the that's what I thought,
or just before it, before you went back, sort of thing.
Oh, we briefed him on all that.
On everything that happened
when we was down.
The last time you went down, where you went in, got ambushed again, or tried to ambush, all that sort of stuff. Anyone disagree with that? Everyone happy that Belgarian or whoever's telling him all what's what? And if there's anything else anyone wants to tell him, any specific, any ideas?
I'm just looking at him and scanning him for anything that's sort of out of place on him, or any sort of wounds or items.
He looks very
Anything
calm.
different.
He looks very calm. He hasn't looked that worried. You kind of watching him now in the sense that he's calm. It doesn't look like a man who doesn't care, but it also does look like a man who's used to this sort of thing in terms of he's a man with obviously wealth. That in itself needs security in some sense. Plus, he obviously is one of the nobles leading this town. Probably the more major of the noble leading this town, as it were. So you kind of presume he's kind of calmness and whatnot. He's used to some of these sort of happenings. Like you would presume that other things have happened in the past. People have potentially attempted to try and come and get him for one reason or other from a sunken boat, say for instance, that they didn't get anything back for or anything like this. You imagine there's been disagreements with him in the past, kind of thing, and you think he's calm, but it's of his position, as it were. He's calm in that sense. In terms of wounds or anything like that, no, he looks absolutely fine.
Nothing on his person or anything.
No, he's sitting there. He's dressed in another kind of. Generally wears like a black suit. You assuming it's probably a slightly different suit than what he's been wearing before. There's nothing obvious that says it is or isn't, but he seems to like wearing black suits. Yeah, and he seems very calm. About this point, you're kind of scanning him and everything, and you guys are talking through the kind of events of what you've been going through. In comes the maid. The maid comes walking in over to the table, and as she comes over, she's got a tray, and she puts the tray down, and another lady comes in with her as well, who isn't the maid, who is this maid is the one that chased you out, Leo, from the corridor before. There is like a cook's assistant who seems to come out as well, which you'd imagine maybe another server sort of thing. Again, it is someone you've seen before. You've seen her at the party kind of thing. Looks like just an extra helping hand if it needs to be sort of thing. She's much younger kind of human. And both of them kind of come in with trays. First of all, she puts down a tray, a big kind of very nice kind of porcelain designed, like hand painted and everything, kind of tea set essentially on her tray. She puts down like bowl of sugar, lots of cups, and then the other lady who comes in, she's got like a porcelain tray, like a tiered kind of tray, like stand with loads of cakes and stuff like that on, and she puts that down on the table. And he's like, please, tea and cake. It's the least I can offer for all your hard work so far. Okay, so he's now mulling over the kind of information you've given him. So is there any part you want to leave out or not leave out? You're just telling him everything that's kind of gone on?
Up to these guys. I'll do everything.
No one's saying anything, because I'm going to assume they are.
Yeah, that's fine.
He says, it's definitely disturbing with what you tell me with these two powerful figures that you met last night, like yesterday afternoon. That's definitely a concern. It would have been afternoon. Would have been afternoon.
Yeah, right. Yes.
He says that's definitely concerning. Okay, so the information I've been sending messages since this started. This started about a week ago. Information. About a week, nearly a week. Nearly a week ago. So he's been sending out messages to try and get information on who these are. He says, I've managed to get some information back, paying a bit more for the service of making sure it's hasty to try and get this information to give you guys some extra information in terms of what you're dealing with here. And thankfully, the information I've gathered seems to tally up with what you're telling me. First of all, I think I can establish that these humanoid rats that you're talking about are, as far as I'm aware, are a band of rats that call themselves a clan, and they're known as the Shiv clan. They come from the mountains to the east, is where they're originally from. And going by what you're telling me, there is a fair few hundred or more in the sewers. That's definitely concerning, but given the information I've got, they easily have thousands, if not more. So I don't believe there'd be that many down there.
But it was it seemed like a city of them down there. Or at least they've set up some sort of massive camp.
We cleared out a good few, but there was some casters and stuff that we stayed away from, shall we say.
I would say that
big spellcasters.
Okay. It does sound to me like this is possibly a group of a couple of hundred as opposed to 1,000 or a couple of thousand. So this isn't all of them, I don't think.
And a couple of hundred of them is not a worry?
It's still very much a worry, but it's not me putting emergency messages to the capital to essentially receive support. I've already got extra guards coming in. I'm bringing my scouts back from outside.
Does he control the militia as well? Sorry, Brad.
He controls most things in this area. Essentially, the structure, as far as you know it, is...
Sorry, so he's, I was thinking he was just like a bit of royalty, but is he...
No.
I thought he was like the mayor.
Yeah.
Say that again?
The mayor.
The mayor.
Yeah, that's what I sort of thought
he was. He's effectively like
sorry, I think
mayor.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
He's not specifically the mayor as such. Basically, Elkinshaw is under the rulership of the Roscoe kind of empire. The castle hold dominion over this town, except rather than them having people that they send out, the Roscoe empire is an old empire sort of thing. It's been around for many, many years. And what you can assume is, especially you, Fenton, you'd probably notice from going to other towns and stuff like that, more often than not, it's generally run by some sort of nobles, some sort of wealthy nobles, either through trade or through family connections or something. So there's generally nobles that are in charge in one sense or other. Elkinshaw itself is quite a wealthy port town, and a good bit of trade that goes through to the capital does actually come through Elkinshaw. You know that because the amount of boats that are kind of here and stuff. And some of the big boats, the big boat that Quandra, Quinn, and Leo arrived on was a massive boat. You don't get them going to kind of small towns as such. So effectively, this town is run by a group of nobles, of which at the masquerade ball, you would have met a few of them. There's 2 captains of boats who are here at the thingy. I can't bother to go through and get their names, but if you went and looked, you'd see them. There was 2 captains. There was another gentleman who was a store master, kind of loads of the stores that are down on the docks. There's also the lady who was sitting upstairs at the time who looked a bit worse for wear. She lives on this street, kind
One
of
I went and saw.
down. Yes, yeah, she lives a bit further down. She's another noble, and as far as you can gather, they're all kind of taking part in essentially running the town, except you're gathering that she's getting a bit too old. The captains are a bit preoccupied with their ships and missions at sea and other things like that. And the guy who has the storehouses is just far too busy. So you assume that it's almost just by default that Levi has kind of got the privilege to be able to kind of run the town in that sense. And these other nobles seem to have the power he has, but they don't seem to wield it in any sense. They seem to be like silent partners, if you like. And you believe that in terms of what you've seen, you've also seen the grounds of Levi's house, and you've seen like the cemetery bit you saw at the back and stuff. When you saw the different tombs and stuff, you believe that Levi is just from a very wealthy, long-term noble family sort of thing, and he obviously hasn't got some busy job going on, so you think that's why he's got it as default anyway, sort of thing. But he's been up to the task for quite a while now. He's been doing it for a long time. None of you have really asked questions in that manner, but you assume so. He's generally questions you've asked and stuff. It's been a while.
Is there any sort of politics issues going around, or someone that doesn't like where Levi sits currently?
There's always politic issues going around. Always. There's never not political issues in the kingdom.
Is there anyone?
You are not from the Roscoe Empire, are you?
Actually, I can't speak to him, Brad. I'm just thinking this, to be honest with you. I'm not actually speaking to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in a roundabout way, we'll say you kind of make some sort of communication. For those, again, there's lots of stuff that I want to have written out to give to you guys. I haven't got through it all yet. You wouldn't know it, and Quinn, you wouldn't know it, and the other 4 of you would. The other 4 of you are roughly around the Roscoe Empire. You all know that a long time ago, because it's spoken about every now and again, it's taught in schools and stuff like that. You all know that the Roscoe Empire and the Balfortic Empire, which is not really an empire, the Balfortic Highlands, which is to the north, the land to the north where the 3 of you got on the boat and came south, they originally used to be one union, and then there was a war. It was about 1,000 or so years ago. None of you listened enough to history as such and seemed bothered enough. But they used to be one union. So there's always this weird tension between the north and south of these 2 lands, because there were originally one around this area where the Roscoe Empire is. There was always the lands to the north, but they were more just a farming communities that essentially were just there to help the Roscoe Empire kind of prosperity sort of thing. But after there was like this big civil war, they essentially broke into 2. The Roscoe Empire was still what it was, the king and all that sort of stuff. But lots of rich nobles and people like that, and then other civilians that were caught up in it, lots of them moved to the Northlands to then take over the Balfortic Highlands to turn it more into a different union of kind of people that wasn't the Roscoe Empire. So there's always this weird political challenge in the sense there's these tensions that have always been there. So the 4 of you who are from the Roscoe Empire one way or another, you would all know that from kind of history. So it's only really Leo and Quinn. Quinn, you would know it as well, because you would know it as well. But Leo, you're probably the only one who doesn't really know it, because you're from a different place that isn't either of these, as it were.
No, am I aware how long these attacks have been going on with these rat humanoid things?
Just in terms of speaking with Levi originally and now and all that sort of stuff, you know that this has only really kind of come about at the point when you guys all met up. So at the point that boat crashed in, that's the first point of anyone noticing that these rats were about.
Okay.
So then he kind of carries on, sipping his tea as he does. You see him, he gets the cake, puts it next to him. He's like, the other information I can give you, which is probably key to you doing something here, is these rats, much like any vermin, have numbers, many numbers. So trying to wade through the numbers is just kind of a folly that isn't really worth doing. The reports I get say that there is a command structure.
Yeah,
a command structure whereby
big boys.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm concerned with them. That means there's some purpose to why they're here. I don't know what the purpose is, but their general purpose is causing some sort of chaos. They could have some aims to find something, to do something. What that aims is, I'm not sure. I haven't got information on that. That varies between what their activity is.
Is there anything special in the town?
Not to my knowledge. The town's been here for a long time, so them being underneath.
Do you mean like resources, Bulgarian? Like what they might want?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, good idea.
There's nothing unique about the town in the sense that there isn't like mines under it or anything like that. I do know that the stone that is underneath Elkinshaw is a kind of a bit of a unique stone in the sense it's very porous. It's almost like a volcanic rock.
All right.
I don't know if that means back in history further than our books tell us that this could have been a volcano or close to a volcano or something like it. But Alexa, turn the garage light on. Alexa, turn the garage light on.
Okay.
Alexa, turn the garage light off.
Alexa, turn the garage light on. I'm muting it now.
Alexa, play some garage. Play some garage music.
You've lost your Alexa privileges. It's now muted.
Wake up the kids.
I can't remember who did that. Someone else did that to me at one point as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, where was we? Yeah, so the rock he's saying is like a very porous rock that's kind of almost like a volcanic type rock. And back in history, its potential, this could have been there could have been volcanic activity that created this rock what they're on. But that said, it's deep. Like you've already been down in the sewer kind of areas, and you remember this is the thing I was telling you before, because the area has these porous rocks, and some of the areas are quite deep and big, and you can kind of squeeze into some of them. They're not tunnels, but it's porous enough that it looks like a sponge or a cheese. And I think it was Sammy. You was determined that this is why it's made the way it is. It's a very good collection water system. So even if the sewers themselves start to fill up, there's a lot of porousness to the rest of it, and that would help in terms of volume of water that it could cope with. So the system is designed with that in mind, sort of thing.
Well, with one thing I will say, with your sewage system and everything, it could be also they might have just found a really good place to just camp up, to just start to live.
Quite possibly. I know that the building of the sewer system was a long time ago, probably early in the Roscoe Empire's kind of existence. It would have been probably early sort of days, long before my time. And again, that's why it's hard to find any information on them sewers, such as a map and stuff like that. There's not many people who I would imagine over years it's been worked on.
Suppose you lie and explored it.
Based on what Bulgarian's saying, do like us going back into the sewers could be antagonising them?
Yeah.
So like, what are your plans next? Are you sending scouts down there? And if you do send scouts down there, do you want us to go in as like shock troops? If your scouts pick up like a pocket of what you think are potential leaders or troublemakers, or stay away from the sewers for the minute, because the fact that we could be stirring up a literal hornet's nest. It's not a literal, is it? You know what I mean.
He's sipping his tea.
I've not touched anything if it's on them little tiny small china plates, because I'm in.
That is on them small china plates.
Yeah. I've not touched any food or drink.
And then you can take a plate with cake on it.
Nah. I've got metal gauntlets on and I'm in full armour, so no, I'm not touching anything that's in
cakes do look delicious.
Going to feed it to you.
I was just about to say that. Would you like a cake? Open wide.
I keep reaching for it and then stopping.
Okay, I'm going to grab a cake.
Thank you.
Barry clearly got fed up with you. Keep going. No.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually scared he's going to go tip forward and then end up going flat.
Yeah. So like
he says, I get what you're saying. I think, as far as you're telling me, you've been in almost every day, and
it's fun.
These attacks have definitely become more frequent, so it does seem as if you're antagonizing them, and they're
but not being funny. So not being funny.
Not being funny.
We might have also stopped them being able to build up to put an attack on the town as well, because they could be building up. They could be building themselves up.
The history of what I've got of these rats, they have never openly tried to take out a town or anything like that. They generally live more in secrecy. It doesn't seem their style to try and take over a town or to even attack a town to take it out. It seems more sinister.
But not be funny. The fact you're missing people from the town now as well, and I'm still convinced that they've taken them.
It's very possible, and it is not uncommon for where these vermin appear that people go missing. I don't have any reports on why. But like I said, whatever it is generally more sinister what's going on. It's not. I'm not fearing an attack on the town because they're not so open to do that. I think because they still want to hide somewhat in secrecy, and if they overstep their marks, then I would imagine the Empire itself would be trying to hunt them down. They probably are already. I'm sure some parts of it are,
because they've been coming up here quite long before we got here, as far as we can see. I'll tell you, have we told them about all the markings and stuff?
Is there any way that we can actually?
I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did we tell them about the markings?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe you just tell him everything as such. That's why I keep asking you.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can sort of like try and, I don't know, talk to one to find out what they want?
Have you tried?
Not personally.
Maybe
they don't seem very approachable.
Yeah, they are. My reports tell me that they are generally aggressive and very hostile kind of creatures. What I would say is because of their command structure in what my reports tell me is that there's generally someone leading them and they're following leaders, even to the point at which when they attacked my mansion, there was lots of little ones, and my reports tell me that there's a lot of smaller ones that are slaves, that are beaten. And you guys now, with that kind of information, kind of think back, and you remember seeing lots of the little ones who generally have something like a wooden leg or something. They don't have very good weapons. You remember the little ones don't have good weapons. You remember seeing lots of them, but they're not armored. They generally don't have a proper weapon like a sword and stuff like that. They generally have something like a stick. Hence why they could literally blow on through it and couldn't do anything. And what you kind of you remembering now that you're seeing that they've been probably beaten in some way, but at the same time of remembering that, Levi's kind of continuing on, and he says, even though the younglings or small ones, the runts, I don't know what they are, even though that they are in some way slaves, there's definitely no way you would turn them slaves. So I wouldn't try that. These are not slaves who don't want to be slaves. These are just kept under control in that way. The reports I've got is that people have tried to see if they can turn slaves on their masters, and just no kind of signs that it would even work. Is the reports I'm getting.
Bit like the elves from Harry Potter type thing. Bit like the things from Harry Potter. House elves and Harry Potter.
Maybe that sort of thing.
So what? We just give them all socks and they're good.
Yeah.
More so like in the sense,
more so that you got.
More so like a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
like you've got Alpha essentially controls them by means of violence, in a sense, that sort of thing. So it's less human. That's the thing you're getting, is it's more animalistic how this kind of slavery thing kind of goes. It's more an alpha-y type of thing, but it's not something that they all. I'm sure the slaves don't like it, but it's not something where they would turn against their masters. It's more a packing order. It's more a who deserves what. And
ideally, we need someone above the slaves, or who we could.
You could always try and communicate with them. I don't have much reports on if that's ever done much. What I would say is the command structure is everything. If you can take down the head, then maybe you win this. Maybe you disperse them. Well, I don't know who that is. Possibly one of the two or both of them, of the ones you've seen. Possibly something else you haven't seen.
Because I could possibly.
Right now, more information would be useful to determine who is who and what is going to make the most difference.
Because I could possibly charm one.
You could. I wonder if they're too animalistic to even work. But then I don't know. You probably know that
just as long as they're
human.
Just as long as they're humanoid.
You know the arcane more than me, so
I'll
leave that to you. Other than that, whatever information do I have? He's kind of looking through notes now. He's got like a notebook. He's flicking through. He's like, I'm putting out feelers to ideas and trying to pull in more information. I'll let you know if I get any more that would be useful lead.
So, Brad, just going back to the beginning. So this has only just started since we've arrived. The boat that we were on, what was so unique about that?
That boat is an extremely large boat that has a lot of security in terms of when it crashed, it had massive airbags that essentially kind of thingy that made it so that you guys on the boat didn't just all slam and pretty much all kill yourselves.
Sure.
And it actually reduced the amount of damage that was done to the dockside itself. The boat itself was technologically advanced, and it's a massive kind of ship in terms of like trade and stuff like that. You don't know much about the purpose of the ship. You just remember that when you got passage on it, you paid a good amount. You could have paid less, but you saw the ship and was like, that's
based
worth being on.
What Levi just said about them living in the mountains, was the boat coming from one of the locations
No.
where
The boat was coming from. The boat was coming from Belfortic Highlands, coming south straight down. The boat itself probably would travel all over the place. The islands to the mountains to the east. If you go on to, if you flick to the D&D info, that's the text channel in thingy. There's the map what Adam put up before.
Which part, mate?
Yeah.
The other question I was going to ask as well was it just a passenger? Was that all the cargo? Was there other bits of cargo on there that I noticed?
It was cargo and passengers. Definitely cargo and passengers. It's definitely you presume it's a ship that is technically advanced and has good security, i.e., it generally doesn't get attacked by pirates, is what you're assuming. So it was a surprise when it actually happened, but the assumption of what happened is that these are not like normal pirates. These weren't pirates trying to take down a ship, trying to look for their cargo and all that sort of stuff. You're unsure what their intention was, but their intention wasn't what this ship is normally designed to not have an issue with.
Do we think we killed all the rats that were on that ship? Because there was lots of like normal rats, but
you're unsure. So going back, when you saw the rats coming off, what you can distinguish now in hindsight is that, remember when you went into the caves and you started to fight some smaller rats in there? Most of them rats you were finding were the ones that don't have proper weapons, just have sticks and stuff like that. When you then got to the sewer area that's all bricked kind of thing, that isn't just the caves anymore, when you got to that area, you fought against what was, as far as you're aware, is some sort of humanoid rats that were different from any of these rats you've been fighting. So they were something different that you fought. You're not sure why.
The were-rat ones, the ones that were biting people.
You've got an inkling that they can potentially have been more human. Like they could have changed more human, is what you got from. There was the organization. Remember the organization, the Viridian Brotherhood, who did the rituals on a few of you? They kind of gave you the impression that those rats can turn more humanoid. And so far, you've not seen any other rats like that. All the rats you've seen since that point were all very, very just a humanoid standing rat, whereas them ones were different. You don't know the purpose of why you haven't seen any of them now.
Hold on, I thought we were under the assumption that the rats were biting humans and making them rats. Are you indicating that the rats could become human?
No, what I'm saying is those particular, I think there was 2 or 3 of them that you fought in that sewers. Them ones in particular, the Viridian Brother had told you that they were more the type of rat that could spread the disease or whatnot, that seemed to potentially be able to change the form of others. But there was only a few of those. And you haven't seen any more that were like that as such. So everything you've seen since then is not anything like that, is a completely different thing. So either there's more of those, or they got on with each other because they're both essentially rats. One's a more humanoid with a different type of purpose. One is a whole clan of them.
So we're talking about two different
factions.
Potentially.
Were rats and rat men.
Yeah.
You don't know if the connection is just because it makes sense that they would be located near each other because they would tolerate each other, or whether it's something else. You don't know.
Brad, what was the intentions of this attack on the party? Because going by obviously my combat experience, what were they? They were coming in. What does it look like their aim was?
You know what their aim was. You saw it happen.
It was to kill Levi.
The one that nearly took out Fenton. The one that nearly took out Fenton did take out Levi, except Levi had suspicion.
Had an ambulance.
And essentially had a magical device that had created a version of himself that wasn't himself, and they essentially attacked it and killed it and thought they killed it.
And why do we not think that's going to happen again? And why did it happen in the first place?
At this point,
other than him being a mayor and a figurehead for the city, why was he specifically targeted?
At this point, you don't think Levi has left his house. You believe that the rats may not even know that Levi's still alive. It's quite likely they don't even know he's still alive.
Ah, yes, okay.
He hasn't left his house. He's been pretty much under house arrest kind of thing. He hasn't. Every time he tells you guys anything, he says, "You go and do this," or "Balasar's come to tell me this." He hasn't really left his house. So you're assuming that he's under house arrest to make sure that they don't know. You could ask him as much.
Yeah, I'll ask him then. Why did they target you, Levi?
He doesn't know. He told you originally. He doesn't know why they targeted him. There was a thing that happened when they took down his double. One of them turned around, and you know that they can speak Rosconian because some of them have. Only 1 or 2 of them have spoken the hybrid ones that you met in the sewer bit, the ones that were the 2 that talked to you the day before, the kind of magic-y ones, and then the other one was the assassin. The assassin that nearly took you down, Stuart. He spoke. He turned around, and at that point, you can't remember who it was. Some of you or all of you heard him say, "We need to tell Master that work is done." That's what you heard at the time. Roughly that. I might be paraphrasing if you go back and watch the video, but it was roughly that. So Levi pretty much says to you,
when was that? Because I don't remember hearing any rats say that.
No, I don't remember it either.
We haven't heard a rat say that at all.
I think I think the ball was so confusing you didn't know what was going on. In that sense, you didn't know because the other thing.
The only time the rat spoke to us was to tell us to go away before that?
No.
when we
So
started?
the hybrid rats did speak to you, and that happened. So if you go back through the videos, you can find it. It
Yeah,
is there.
one of them was like, you know, no, not you know what you have done. That's Div's one with the dwarf. He told us to leave. The one that's the were rat bloke.
Yeah,
He
but
did a
he
speech.
never.
Yes,
We
he
didn't
did.
hear him say,
I don't
"Tell the
recall him
master
saying,
it's
"Tell the master it's done."
master
because
it's done."
So the were rats in the sewer bit, with the bricks bit, them ones spoke to you and told you to leave, that you shouldn't be there.
Mhm.
But then, as I said, it also happened at the party. Some of you overheard that rat speak to the others and say that master, like, they must tell, paraphrasing whatever it was, the master must be told that the work is done, or something along them lines is what you heard.
I'm going to have to look for that on the video then, because I don't remember that at all.
But I
If you
tried
remember, that had happened somewhere in between the point of him getting stabbed and falling on the floor and exploding, while loads of rats were all running around all over the place. It was.
But that would have been a
panicky.
major thing for us to remember.
I'm quite certain I said
Right.
it.
Yeah,
I might go back myself and see it.
I think
we'll just assume he said it anyway. Let's move on. Right. So
yeah, because I was just saying, because I don't remember that being said at all.
I don't either, Kendra.
It might have been that you didn't see it and someone else did. It could have been that. Someone, I'm absolutely certain I said it.
Doesn't matter.
It may not have been that you heard it. It may have been that someone else heard it and then didn't tell you, or something like that. It could have been multiple things. But that is what happened. So so far you know that them were rats down the bottom, those magical ones, and that assassin type one, them ones you've heard speak Rosconian.
Yeah, we know a couple of them do speak.
Actually, that said, the assassin and the hybrid ones, they spoke in a really gurgly, clicky, squeaky, kind of quick, repeating, kind of almost stuttery kind of sense when they speak. And theirs was a odd language, but speaking Rosconian words. It was like they had like having an accent, but really bad. The magic ones, when they spoke to you, you could tell they were speaking in some language. That language still sounded like the squeaking and stuttering and stuff. But the language you heard with your ears kind of it overcome itself to the point where you was hearing words as Rosconian as if it was magic based. Words you were hearing, you were understanding very clearly, but you could also tell that the noises they were making weren't the language.
So basically, we've just got to decide what our next step is.
I'm going to try to talk to him telepathically, Brad, in Rosconian. See if he...
Levi?
Levi. Say,
what do you want to say to him?
Levi, can you hear me? In your head.
If you can hear me, touch your nose.
So if I remember rightly, people can
He touched his nose.
You. No, I didn't. I'm touching my lip. If I remember rightly, there is a specific condition as to whether someone can speak back to you, isn't there?
There is, but I don't know what
remember
that is, Brad. Only you know what it is. I don't know what it is.
I tell you at the time. Adam may know what it is.
They have to be wearing one glove.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is, because it doesn't matter the other people know. The reason why you can telepathically speak to Quinn is because Quinn understands Sinnish, and the only language you can use to speak telepathically is Sinnish, which is the language of where you're from.
Then that's what I speak to him in Sinnish, Brad.
To Levi
in Sinnish.
Understands you.
He does.
Okay. He can speak Sinnish. So as you say something to him, he says, he kind of looks over towards you and assumes it's kind of you, and just kind of looks towards you. And then
say, Levi, I think you're the key here. How do you feel like being bait in a kill box? What do you think of that?
Yeah, no thanks.
We don't know they're saying.
He just looks.
You don't know what I'm saying to.
I know that. I'm joking.
He just looks at you for a bit and then kind of strokes his beard and says, "Interesting." So
I was actually going to suggest that Levi come out
that I had before, so it'd be at more risk.
think that would be.
And I do not believe they know I'm still alive, as far as I'm aware.
This would help us capture someone, hopefully.
Rather not,
ranks.
if that's possible.
I noticed.
Especially considering with how much ease the last one got my duplicate. That was too easy. So that concerns me on your ability to be able to keep me alive.
So duplicate-wise, Brad, was that an actual person who fucking died?
No, when it got stabbed, it fell on the floor and just smashed into ice. And at the time, afterwards, he took off an amulet and said to you about to do with.
It was like a projection of himself.
So they know
it was a physical thing. It was a physical thing that looked
I would imagine
just like
very,
me.
very expensive.
But yeah, when he took off the amulet, he told you about that. It's lucky that he has the wealth to be able to afford such things. But at the time when he told you, you could tell the amulet he had dead after that.
Has he got any more of them amulets?
No, he just said. He said I haven't got the means like I did last time. He just said that.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be you as your person. I'll protect you.
Mm-hmm.
And we will, as a party, protect you. But I think that's the way forward.
You did well on helping on the attack on the ball. But no one noticed that assassin get my duplicate. No one noticed it until it happened. So how could you not? How can I not believe that that's going to happen again?
Saying that, Brad, is that maid still loitering around in front of us?
No.
Right, okay.
I didn't know she's still standing there. She's the one who shoved the cake in your mouth. No. She's gone.
Shoveling cake in my face.
Is there anyone that actually...
Cake.
Is there anyone that actually looks similar to Levi? Like build, height, hair colour?
He says I have
they went from behind
I have no
or...
living family. So the chances of finding someone who looks exactly like me.
Well, not exactly like you face-wise. I'm just on about like from a distance. If we stood two people together, you wouldn't be able to tell them.
Any man in a suit may look like me, and from a distance.
Mm.
Besides, you've got arcane knowledge. Maybe that would help you with that. That wouldn't be too expensive for even me to get hold of.
What was that? Sorry.
That wouldn't even be that expensive for me to get hold of something.
Perhaps there was a scroll of mirror image in the stores.
Mm-hmm.
Go and have a read up. Go have a read up, Brad.
You remember back to do you remember when?
Store.
Do you remember when the duplicate died?
Yeah.
Do you remember where he was?
He was in the ballroom, wasn't he?
Yeah, but how? How was he there and there?
Magic.
So most of you forgot. What at the time when you met him at the ball, he had a bodyguard who was with him.
Mm-hmm.
Later in the night, when he got stabbed and exploded, the bodyguard behind him walks forwards, takes off a mask, and all of a sudden that's Levi. The mask he was wearing changed how he looked.
Why did you do that? What made you do that?
I had word that I was in danger. My scouts are very good. I didn't know what the danger was, but I knew something was moving towards me.
These little birds.
And if it was fake, then no harm, no foul. The ball would have just been the ball. It would have finished. Everyone would have spoke to me. I would have spoke to people. Nothing was any different. If you noticed, I was the bodyguard. Anything anyone said of importance to Levi, I would have still known because I was standing right there. It was just a clever plan to make sure that no one knew that I was duplicated, basically.
Do the people in the town know you're still alive, or do they all presume you're dead as well?
I would imagine there are some whispers, such as some of the guests who are here.
And also, you've got a lot of guards and stuff. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to accidentally talk, unless they've been told otherwise.
It's not open knowledge in and about everywhere, but I would imagine some people know. it's not like everyone's going to be whispering to everyone about what's going on. Most people probably don't even know there was an attempt on my life. Most people are just going about their daily business. Most people don't even care what I do. Most people just only get upset when I do the wrong thing. So I don't think it's too much of a problem if a few people know. They're probably not even, as I said, aware that an attempt was made on my life. So they're just going about their business. No one's going to be particularly
People
talking
must have
about
known
it.
about the attack though, because there was quite a lot of guards and stuff that were killed, as well as some of the guests, weren't they?
Alexa, turn the garage light off.
Okay.
Alexa, play garage music.
And mute.
It's that gone dark.
He turned the lights off.
I turned lights on purpose this time.
No, you've gone dark, mate. Your camera.
I've gone
What?
dark. What?
Yeah,
No, I'm
you've
still
gone.
here.
No, you're black.
Oh, I knocked that down. That's why. Oops. What would you say, Stuart, about the people?
I'm sure that there's guards that would have died. There was some guests that would died. So if they were all part of the town, then people were going to be aware of the fact that there was an attack, and therefore there were losses.
We only lost a couple of guards in that attack. All the civilians made it out.
Ah, okay, good. It's better than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, your group being there helped delay. With your actions, you helped delay enough that all the civilians went out the window.
Cool.
If you remember that there was a whole group of them, all the different guests and stuff like that.
Yes.
The musicians, everyone else, they were all down that end and they all went out the window. You will basically create a line, and some of the others who were fighting capable joined you and created that line, which you all held.
Well, we've got a lot more questions than we have answers at the moment.
Indeed, and information is going to be the key. That said, as I said, I've trying to put things into place to see if I can come up with something to help this situation.
Yeah, we really need to make a decision on the next move.
I will get
We've
word
still
to
got
you
missing
if-
families.
Yes.
We've got were-rats, rat men, and we still don't know what anybody wants.
Like I said, the aim is generally chaos, not to overtake a town.
It's more like a controlled chaos.
It's possible that the people who have gone missing are already dead. Most of the people who go missing, in terms of reports from the past, that have never shown up again. A grim thought.
You obviously want this to be handled.
A grim thought would be that the rats have to eat, but I don't wish to think that. But like I said, they don't generally turn back up.
What is the next port of call?
Do you have any ideas?
As I said, if we can try and get one, I could possibly charm it. Where it would think I'm an ally and possibly get information.
Well, I guess you guys can come up with a plan. I know that it seems to be they're being more antagonized and causing more disturbance in the town as you've riled them up. That seems...
I can also go invisible and sit somewhere quietly and watch them.
You remember when you was invisible, they could somewhat detect you even though you was invisible. When you were there, they knew your presence was somewhere about there. So you remember that that's a bit of an iffy situation.
I think they can smell you.
It is possible. You think it
Well,
might
I
be
don't even mind rubbing myself in their crap if that's what it takes.
Sorry?
So they don't smell me. But we
Normally,
need.
it's all pristine. This is taking you by surprise.
Yeah, we need to do something.
Is there any way we could draw them out? Maybe make me look like Levi or something like that, or.
Well, that's what I said. That's why I asked if there's anybody that is a similar height build.
Levi says to you, they're more secretive than that. They don't just all come out in the open. They've never all been seen out in mass in the open. Not from his reports, anyway.
There's not many options. We either sit and wait and see what happens.
That's what I was saying. Wait for
Try and get
scouts to kind of give us an indication of leave them alone.
Yeah, he does
or
say
a specific target.
He is working on some options at the moment.
Because if it can be an endless slog through soldiers, I mean, I'm up for a round no matter what. But if just keep going back into the sewers could be potentially causing attacks at night as repercussions, maybe that's not the smart thing to do.
Is there any more information you need off me? Anything else that would help? I feel like I've told you a good amount of information. Is there anything I'm missing that you may need to know that I haven't?
So what do you want us to do?
What,
basically?
when, where, and why?
Yeah.
At the moment, I don't have a direct action for you guys to take.
No, that's fine. But like,
I'm already putting out feelers for options. But there's no point in me putting out one of them plans to you as such. I'll just wait and see what comes back.
So, is there advice for us not to go back into the sewers?
I won't advise you not to go back in the sewers, but information is definitely key. If you could get information about antagonizing them, then that's probably the best case scenario. But I don't know what your abilities totally are. You've seemed capable up to now.
Some of us are not built for stealth. I indicate. I think it's me and Sammy sitting on the same settee, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just.
I'm surprised that ain't been broke yet.
Exactly. Yeah. Settee's groaning. I indicate, but as I'm saying that, some of us are not built for stealth. I'm kind of gesturing vaguely about me and Sammy.
And I'm a bit like Legolas, I can just walk on the top of the snow.
I said these are finely made furniture.
I think we're stress testing your city right now. It's like a literal ton of metal on this one city.
Right, well, I personally want to go back to the library and see if I can find any more about this Shiv clan.
And the master.
The reports I've had to pay money to get. I don't think
I'll say that won't be in the library.
I had to pay money to acquire some of this information.
Where is it? There was something I spotted.
And use resources that I've got that won't be easily accessible.
Just looking for something. The only reason I'm saying is because of my background as a sage and researcher.
Yeah.
Because when
you probably won't find it, you probably won't find that information in this town in the sense that what he's saying, he's probably sending riders and all sorts of other things all across different areas, especially related to that mountains to the east, kind of towns nearer to that, and potentially in Lorgard Spires as well, which is the big information source. Which, again, I've mentioned before, Lorgard Spires is essentially the capital of the Roscoe Empire where the king is, but it's also a big source of information. Whether you have access to that information is another thing, but that's the main place that he can essentially access. But he's paying money, like he said to you, he's essentially paying money to receive this information and quickly. But like you said, at this point, he's not worried about them openly attacking the town, only that they're going to cause constant nuisance depending on what's going on. So he's not kind of calling for royalty to do something. He's handling this himself at this point.
With all the reading that I have done, would I have heard of this Shiv clan anywhere?
Unlikely. You're more from the west than the east. So in your reading and stuff like that, you would get different snippets of information, but you wouldn't necessarily get more local knowledge like that as such. You are quite well read, but these kind of things, like they're quite a secretive. Like you said, they're generally wanting to be secretive in that sense, so they're not just a common thing as such. So it would be hard to find.
Okay.
I get up, Brad, and I say to Levi, send message when your scouts return. See if they've gathered any other information.
Okay.
And I'll start walking out.
Well, do anyone want to finish the teas and the cakes?
Leo looks like he's finished the conversation.
Yep.
He doesn't say anything, does he? Because he's talking to.
He doesn't say anything. You don't hear anything. He just says it.
No,
and
he just gets up and walks out.
Gets up and walks out, and you guys are like,
Come, Fenton.
He looks around and says,
"Yeah, I've got
a minute."
Okay, if you want to stay and finish some tea and cake before you go as a breakfast, and if I get any extra information, I'll let you know. And if you collect any information, then by all means, let me know.
Cool. We will do.
Thank you. I don't touch anything. I leave.
Do they know that with your scouts and stuff? Do they know the number at all of them?
They assume hundreds. He assumes hundreds.
Hundreds.
Because the numbers of this clan alone is thousands.
And there's only 2 biggies that they know of.
That you know of.
That we definitely know of, but do they know?
He has no information on the structure of them. He just knows a general hearing of the clan shiv, as it were, and that they are monstrous rats. And I mean, he's got snippets of eyewitnesses and stuff like that. He doesn't have anything on what this specific structure is or anything like that. He didn't even know about the 2 you told him about from yesterday.
Right,
and again, you guys only have the information you currently know, so we're working on less information in that sense.
I mean, obviously, I don't know how good his scouts are. If they could get anything on the actual structure of a bit more than what obviously we've just seen the 2.
He's essentially said to you guys, if you can get that, that's going to be useful.
Okay.
He may be able to get additional information coming in the next few days from other reports or something like that. That's potential, but it's also potential to not. So it may be you guys who potentially get that information.
Okay.
But like you said, he's working on some things. He's just not giving you details on what he's working on, but he's clearly working on some things. He's got scouts out and he's doing different things with resources he has.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll leave it. I'll say thank you very much. Thanks for the hospitality.
While I'm standing next to Quinn,
I'll go for a Fenton now.
Did anyone have tea and cake?
I had some.
I'm gonna get a napkin. I'm gonna get a napkin and like take some to go.
Before you go over there, Quinn, I'm going to whisper to you. I'm going to tell you to leave Oscar.
Hey, oh boy.
Just while we walk outside.
The cakes are absolutely exquisite.
They are. Yes, they are very nice.
And the tea is fantastic.
The thing is, Fenton would probably find them disgusting.
No, Fenton has been in places before where he knows fine dining. He's been to a lot of rough places, but also some nice places. And
we stuffed a couple of cakes down his throat, so he had no choice in eating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fenton, you would know, Fenton, that this is the cost of money, right?
Yes.
Yeah, fancy. Do people want to have a quick break? 5 minutes here?
Yeah. Just get a coffee.
Welcome back. Don't know where everyone else is.
That was rather fun with the tea and cakes. I was like, who's going to have tea and cake, considering I started doing that at the beginning of the game? Was that something? Was it not? Oh! Like I said at the beginning, there's some instances when, as a DM, I want to do things, and it's like, if I do it now, it's obvious I'm doing something. So I thought, you know what, I'll get some rolls off you beforehand. And if things happen, things don't happen, I've got to have some rolls.
I still feel like Levi's leaving something major out.
Yeah, he's doing stuff himself, isn't he? So
what do you mean? In which sense? You can make so Candy, because obviously, if you've got ideas like this, by all means, tell us, like as a player and all that. We can say to you, well, actually, you can try this. So you can try things like insight checks and stuff like that. So an insight check is your character, how much does she believe what she's hearing and things like this.
Well, I just think that for someone who he doesn't know why they're after him, but why go through all that bother with?
He knows he's the powerful one. He's the one essentially running the town. Is what you guys know, in the sense that, like I said, there are other nobles, but they're pretty much either too busy or don't want to do much. So it pretty much just falls to him, and he pretty much runs the town. So it's obvious that if you know what I mean, if you want to ruin the town to get the head of the town, he's the head of the town, sort of thing. Even though he's technically not, he is.
I just think he's hiding something.
Yeah. You can certainly try. You can always do things. You can always try all sorts of things and stuff.
Insight check on people.
Yeah, you can do the insight check. There's always different things. You can always ask if you want to do something, especially where you're still quite new and haven't seen what some people attempt to do and things like that. By all means, let me know and I can tell you that's a bad idea, or I can say what may happen. Stuff. As I said, you've got more privilege than other people have because you're still newer to the game. So if you feel that way and you want to find something out, then by all means you can try things. Like Chris essentially just went and stole 100 golds chain off someone randomly. So things can happen. Things can be done. You can pretty much try all sorts of things. And like I said, for you, I would tell you if it was going to be bad. So you've got that extra privilege, which other people don't have. If the other guys try it, I'll just make them roll and deal with whatever happens.
And that's why I was trying to ask Quinn to leave Oscar there. So as we were walking out, stay within 100 yards, just make out we're chatting and just to see if he says anything to anybody.
Yeah, I leave him to like crawl up the like curtain.
Was that on the curtain?
Yeah, like above the curtains kind of thing.
Well, you're against the curtain. You can quite easily just hold your arm out and put him around there. It won't be much because you were standing by the window.
Yeah, because who's going to know? Like every house has a spider.
Yeah. Also, the curtains. There's enough to hide him behind in there. And considering you were loitering by the window, I'd say that's not a hard thing to pull off. Although you're going to have to walk no more than 100 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once we're outside, once we're outside the main doors, he probably doesn't. If he is going to say anything, he doesn't realise that we can technically listen anyway. We could just be standing outside talking about what we're having for lunch.
Do we have everyone back yet? Do we have David and Chris?
I don't know where David is.
Yep, I'm back. I don't know where David is though.
I know David from bloody yonks.
Since they discussed the sofa.
I don't even think he said anything during the sofa, did he?
No,
possibly not.
So I'm saying I ain't heard him for ages. I wonder if he's fallen asleep.
Yeah, he's fallen asleep at his desk. Like, what? Last thing I bought.
He's our leader, isn't he?
I bought 100 gold.
I bought
100 gold
piece
pearl.
His camera's gone. Yeah, I do think next time I'm around Leave, I'm going to do some sort of
You can try now if you want.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the first one. Fireball.
Now, so what would I have to do to see if I've to see whether I think he's telling the truth or not?
Yeah, you can make an insight check, which is essentially just your skill. You're rolling to see if you roll well or not. And I'll give you a description as to how you do.
Insight. Where would I find that?
One of your skills is insight.
Yep. Insight. Oh, so I've got +2 on that. So is that just normal D20?
Yes, yeah, D20 plus your insight.
17.
I think David missed almost all that conversation.
He's going to have to watch the video because no one even realised he wasn't there. Till the break. Luckily we had a break so he'd actually pop back in.
Hello?
Wakey.
Oh.
We were chatting to you.
Sorry.
It's alright.
Last thing I remember, we were all sitting on the sofa.
I said it was the sofa, didn't I? You said something about the sofa.
Yep.
Rather than me try and give all that information again, it might be best if you just catch up with the video.
Yeah, no worries.
Sometime around February 2024.
Candy, your insight check. You feel that he is being truthful. It's a fairly good roll, and he doesn't seem nervous or anything like that. There's no sweat on his brow or anything else. He's just very, very calm, as if he's just reeling off information. It does seem he had a set of notes and stuff, and you could see that there was notes on the page that he had, kind of thing. So you have no reason to doubt what he was saying.
Cool.
So all of you are now walking out, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've left Oscar on the curtains.
Oscar on the curtains.
So we can just go 100 yards, whatever it is.
Feet.
Well, look, here's everyone.
Hello.
None of us even noticed you weren't in there.
You were just recharging, weren't you?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Recharging.
Powered down for a little bit there.
Powered down and just looked like you were still awake.
Your Night Rider eyes were still going.
Yeah.
So you go out. Are you going to go up to the 100 feet away and just stand in the street?
Yeah. Chat.
Yeah. We can go that far while. Yeah.
I just want to give it a couple of minutes, just see if we hear anything or.
It's probably only about 40 feet down from about where you are now to about where the kind of roadway is. So you could walk out to the roadway and walk a little bit further and still be able to see what Oscar's here.
Rather than just peer through his window.
Yeah. About here?
Yeah, well, it'd be much further. It'd be off the map, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go no further, so I'll just stay there.
Okay,
because even if it's not him that we listen to, it could be the guards or the staff, because believe it or not, the staff know more than anybody.
Yeah, potentially.
They're in there 100%. They see and hear everything.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through his eyes and just repeat stuff as it happens to the group.
Okay, so you're
Brad. I don't know if you saw my token move, but I don't go straight down the path. I walk off the path so I can look up the side of the house, and then I join back onto the path to come down.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, you definitely notice at least two.
Yeah, I can see two guards there.
You actually notice a Roman one up the top here as well.
From about there.
Yeah, you notice that there's two guards stationed on this door, and you notice there's a patrol out the back here as well.
All right, lovely. Good. All right, and then there's
definitely more guard presence than there used to be in terms of before the ball and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You feel confident in what you've been told in terms of how many guards are on?
Yeah, Fenton wouldn't know otherwise, because he's taking things literally all the time. So he's not.
Yeah, but what I mean is in terms of your prowess.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. Stuff. Yeah, I'm just looking at it in terms of guard and soldier fall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like what you've been told is being upheld in terms of that there is a good patrol. Other than that guy who was at the front door, the guy at the front door made you kind of almost squint your eyes a bit at him. But overall, this does seem like a capable bunch of guards that are guarding the place.
He's probably just a rookie, though.
Possibly.
Yeah, do you want rookies here?
Or you just brought him out.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm fine with it.
Okay. So you guys are say about 80 feet away. You kind of standing kind of up by the side of the road. You're kind of far enough away that it doesn't look like you're all still sitting there staring at the house. You're kind of all grouped up. Looking around, as I said, it's a fairly nice day.
Like we're chatting.
Yeah, that kind of thing. You're kind of huddled. You're kind of standing there together. It's kind of a nice day in terms of it's fairly warm. It's fairly warm. You can hear the usual noises of the seagulls and the docks and stuff. They're the kind of noises that come across most of the town at most points, like I said before. And Quinn, so you, as you go through, you're now looking through Oscar's eyes, and he's kind of peering on the edge of the curtain. And as he does, you see the maid. She comes walking in first, and shortly behind, the butler comes behind. And the maid kind of comes over to pick up the trays, and as she does, she picks up the cakes. And I was like, they're very polite. They didn't eat any of the cakes. Better talk to the chef. And then she kind of waddles out.
Was I the only one that ate?
No,
I did.
Oh yeah.
And
Queen took away.
Queen got a takeaway.
And then she comes back, picks up the tea. At the same time as that's kind of happening, the butler walks in and says, "So, sir, was that what you was hoping to achieve?" And Fenton says,
Levi.
And Levi says, "I gave him as much information as I could. I can only hope my sources come back to me." Alfred, make it a late dinner tonight. I think I'm going to be busy. I need to get more information. I'll be in my office, and then Alfred then kind of goes back as if he's going back towards the kitchen. Maid's already gone, and Levi leaves north through the door, and then Oscar can no longer see him because he's gone out the door.
Cool.
But I come out and go, guys, it was kind of rude. We should have had more cakes.
Fair enough. Next time.
Fat fingers.
Next time I'll stuff some more in Fenton's face.
Yep.
It's probably about half an hour to an hour in total. You get in there, talking to him, coming outside, sort of thing. Sipping tea, pondering.
Well,
yeah, about half an hour to an hour.
Well, I personally think we should go back to the inn, have some lunch, and then sit down and try and figure out what we're going to do next.
Kind of midday-ish at the moment.
Yeah.
Are we all together now? Like
Yeah,
the others? Okay.
Yep.
I don't know why, but I fancy a lasagna.
Everyone okay with that? Going back to the inn?
Okay, so you're making your way back to the Wyvern Inn.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing delays you as such. You walk around, takes 5 or 10 minutes. You get back. As I said, it's about 12, half 12. Like noon time sort of thing. So you're back in the Wyvern Inn. What's the thoughts?
So what's the plan, guys? Are we going back down?
I mean, I'd rather not. Yeah, I don't want to make things worse.
I just want to know what's happening and why. What do they want? I hate unfinished business.
As long as I'm either fishing, eating, or fighting, I don't care what we're doing.
Yeah, but that didn't include stealthing and information gathering.
And obviously, when I say eating, I mean drinking.
Yeah, I'd like to go fishing.
Is there anything anybody wants to do while we wait for Levi?
Sounds like we're going fishing.
I can't fish again. But it's annoying.
I'm great at fishing.
Now it's daylight. Bakery, Brad, where the fire was.
Yeah. You want to go
That's
that
where
way?
I'd like to go to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with him.
These or?
Hmm?
Do you tell these or do you just go?
No. I tell them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People joining him?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Everyone is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Phantom puts down his drink.
Investigating weren't on my list.
Here you go. Look,
Okay.
there's a bottle to take with you.
Oh, thanks, lady.
Oh dear.
That'll keep you going.
Did you get a bottle?
Yeah, things cost money, innit?
Yeah.
It's random.
10 gold.
Right.
10 gold.
10 gold for a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let me take that off then.
Hold on, what's she giving me?
I bought you a bottle.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
In this bakery, there's an elvish lady, right?
One of the ones who was outside last in the early morning.
Okay. Yeah.
Where do I find the money again, babe?
Inventory.
Inventory.
That's a good point.
Right. I need to take away 10 gold.
She's giving me a 10 gold bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Just to keep you happy. There you go. Wine's paid for.
It lost you a good bit.
I think it's rather the 10 gold.
That's nearly double what I've got.
He's gonna need to eat. He's gonna sell the bottle of wine just to eat.
Yeah.
I was going to say, again, sell it, Stu. Sell it back to him, get a cheaper bottle, and
Yeah, I hope she won't notice.
Oh, I wouldn't be testing.
No, I'm not doing that.
Party's manners already. Oh, blimey.
No. Never turned down a gift.
The casters were immediately talking about Fireball a minute ago. Or Fireball. Not sure you want to cross them. The hobos. Okay, so you're walking back to the bakery. It's not that far away, about another 10, 15 minutes or so around the corner. So you're coming up on the bakery. The bakery has all been mostly put out. There's still smouldering kind of like lighter kind of smoke coming out from it.
So is it just a wreck, Brad? Is it just fucked?
It's not completely. It can be rebuilt. It's definitely losing at least 40% of it is ruined.
Okay.
Being a port town with water all over the place, you think unless more was burning, they should be able to put that out without too much trouble.
Can we see what started the fire?
yeah, I was going to say, can we sort of investigate the area?
Can we have a look at the area? Let's have a look around the area.
Like, is there any clues to what started the fire?
Yeah, go on in. Give me investigation checks for anyone who wants to try. If more than 3 of you try, I'm going to take it as a group check.
I'll try.
I'll try. Investigation.
So that's the normal roll. Just to make sure you're aware. If I ask for a check from anyone who wants to check, if it goes above 3 of you checking, so if it goes to 4,
shocking.
at that point it's going to be a group check.
21. 22.
Oh, look at that. 27. I got a 20.
Don't worry about my score.
You all rolled fairly high, didn't you?
Yeah.
We're all in it as well.
I got a 20. For my second one.
Searching around doesn't take you long. You 3 seem to be right on the case. It doesn't take you long before you find kind of on the kind of side of it, so not the front, just slightly at the side, slightly a bit more out of view, as it were. There's the window kind of goes along go along the front and then kind of goes around the side of it, and it looks like as if some sort of oily substance or something had been poured along what would have been a kind of window ledge sort of thing. So you imagine it's kind of just like an oil poured on, lit, and then it's gone up. That's the
arson.
So it's definitely arson.
Yeah.
Looking for accelerants.
Yeah. No, with them kind of checks, you would definitely be able to tell that was what started it. And it was definitely, intentional.
Okay, but obviously too much of a footfall around the area to sort of see if there were any.
They were masked robed humanoids around that, like last night. But no one gave you more information than that. It was dark. It was at night. It was a good time to essentially assault where guards. There are quite a lot of guards around, but the town is large. There's not guards on all streets, sort of thing. The guards patrol around, and I'd say, Fenton, you probably noticed, if you stood still on a street, especially that main street, or anywhere near the main kind of more prominent wealthy bit, so where the square is, the Wyvern Inn, the Levi's house area, up that kind of way, any of them kind of bits, if you stand there for about 5 minutes, a patrol will be around within 5 minutes. And if you go further out, you would also notice, Fenton, that probably looking about 15 minutes on the kind of cheaper sides of town, probably about 15 minutes before a patrol comes out. So the patrols are fairly frequent, but there is time in between, sort of thing.
So now we've established that this was arson.
Yep.
Is this building next to anything or near anything, or is it thinking about what we know of the town?
No, there's a couple of other shops along that bit with it, but they seem less fancy. So you won't like on the other street, the one you was on before had the tailors and things like that, and you've got the market with the jewelers and stuff. This one has more of your more towny type stuff, like your bakers and your tanners and all different things like that sort of thing.
Also, was there any entrances down into the sewers, for instance, from this?
There was. Keith asked that at a time, and there is, but it's not right on it. It's about 100 feet away or so.
Right, so no reason to do that then.
It wouldn't have been that something popped straight out of it and went there. No, it would have had to march. If something came out of there, it would have to go through the streets.
Okay.
I'm just gonna have a look through the rubble just to see if there's anything that stands out.
Oh dear.
Through the rubble. Nothing kind of stands out. It just, given that it's kind of arson from that, the rest of the bits have all kind of fallen in. The front kind of area that was lit as such has essentially fallen in on itself, but the back half's kind of still there. Obviously, the family has been moved out.
I was thinking because it's bakers, maybe paperwork or that-ish footprints in the flour on the floor or
no,
like
whatever
that.
this was done. Given that you found that the arson is from the outside, you presume it's from the outside and nothing. You don't think you're going to find anything on the inside as such. You think that this was from the outside and then they run. That's what it looks like.
It
looks like quick as well because it's oil. You presume it's just like oil, spread it all around like fire sauce, and up it goes. And then because there's a family and they're asleep, by the time the guards or the family determine it, it's 5-10 minutes. And then at that point, the building's already alight enough. And like I said, there's about 40% worth of this side of the building that's all damaged, and the back still stands. So it's what would happen if a quick assault fire would happen. You don't believe that necessarily there's anything.
So
inside.
this was more of a distraction than
either a distraction or just set fire to something. You're not sure.
That's what we thought last time, that this was a distraction, so then they could attack Levi, which is why we went to Levi's.
Yeah.
You now also know that the boat was sunk. And that there was about 3 or 4 attacks.
Oh, that's an idea.
As well.
I want to go and see this boat. I want to go and see the boat that was sunk because we didn't know anything about this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not your boat. Swimming again.
That was a fun coincidence.
Yeah.
Where was the guards attacked from here?
Different areas, different dotted around, kind of at least 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 different attacks in different areas.
Is there anywhere near the bakery?
No, one of them was to the east of the Wyvern Inn that goes slightly towards Levi's as such. That's what made you panic and go in that direction. There would have been much further to the east, sort of thing. One that's a bit more to the north gate, and then one that's kind of down by the school area, the kind of cheaper area.
If we look at it, does it look like they were drawing people away from a particular area?
No, because it was too spread out. Like the attacks were in very different areas, almost as if it seems like as if you wanted to attack multiple different areas. You know what Levi said about they want to cause chaos, kind of thing. So you're presuming the fact they're in multiple different areas was so that there's less chance they're going to get caught up together and they can get away with whatever they're going to do in further distances, sort of thing. They obviously all struck about a similar time, is what you can assume. And with that, it does feel like it is potentially like a just cause havoc, chaos. Like you said, Levi said to you that people are now kind of on edge, nervous. There is whispers and talk and rumors going about what's going on in the town and stuff like this. So it does seem like whatever they was intending to do, they've caused some panic, sort of thing. So whether that was their intent.
How hard is it to get a copy of a map of the town?
You haven't really found anywhere that's got a map of the town as such.
Yeah, I think we've asked that before.
Yeah, you'd need a cartographer's.
Yeah.
And if there was a cartographers in this town, they would be less focused on the town and more focused at the seas.
Right.
Probably should have asked Levi this. Do we know if it was
the town? I can tell you more about it, but
if it was done all at the same time, the attack?
Yeah, no. You gather from the chat with him that it would have been about the same time. It seemed like it was about the same time.
So the only reason I was asking about the map is that I wanted to mark out where the wells were, where the attacks are, where we've seen them.
what I would say to you as a DM to a player is the map would have to be fairly large with a lot of information on it, and it's very difficult for me to do in that map, so I don't have that map. I have a part map.
Yeah, just from that point of view.
Even if I doodled one, do you know, like just like I doodled a little map myself and just
like does it look like they were all within like 100 yards of a sewer to escape or something like that?
Right, if you overlay a grid, were they playing tic-tac-toe?
That's how much of the town I've drawn. It isn't obvious. There's the square.
Mm-hmm.
That is the large rock kind of bit that comes out all the way around there, which is all where all the mansions that Levi's house is right up the top here. This is all the docks, of which there is a lot of it. This end, it's in reverse, by the way. This end is the side where you've been going into the cave.
Mm-hmm.
These are outer walls with towers. And this is the kind of crossroads that goes through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are very small. There are tons of houses there. And as I said, I wasn't going to draw all the rest of them in. So that's roughly what the town looks like. It's basically
basically I just wanted to like what
to get an image on
Sammy,
it. So
Sammy like just said where
it's like a big cross.
Were.
It's like a big cross of the main routes that go through it from east to west and north to south. Is like a big main street that goes through it, and then off of that, loads of streets go everywhere. There's loads of houses. There's no, it's not patterned in any way. It's very jumbled houses, roads all over the place, sort of thing. There's no particular pattern to it, and there are wells dotted around all over the place.
Right. Okay.
There are many wells. There are wells that are like the ones that you've gone in, round wells that you've kind of gone in, popped up. You've popped up like 2 or 3 of them, I think, already. There is a fair number of them, but then there's also kind of like small watery type wells that are on the side of a stone building that water is naturally pouring out of and stuff like that. There's a lot of water sources around.
Were there any areas where there weren't attacks?
Any areas that there weren't attacks?
Yeah.
Not really. They kind of covered. That's about 6 attacks in total, and overall, it's hard to say that there wasn't a particular area that attacked.
Okay.
They were spaced out enough, but they weren't. They don't seem tactical in terms of where they were. They just seem sporadic. They seem like the groups of guards were attacked, the bakery, and at the docks. There's nothing. They weren't attacked probably in areas that were more highly populated by guards. So the docks at the end where your boat is has the guardhouse. They weren't attacked anywhere near there. The actual main gates, north, east, and west, are almost like barrack areas. No, they weren't near there. So you would assume that they've gone for easier areas.
The only reason I was asking is like obviously you said that they were all it all went off at the same time.
Mm.
So they must have been.
It wasn't an exact time. It was roughly the same time.
I was just saying they must have been watching the guards somehow to figure out where they were going to come out and attack at that particular time.
Or they all left from the same spot.
Mm.
Yeah, what would be a central spot?
Probably more centre of town, as it were.
If we put all the attacks down to one point.
So I would say
that's why I wanted to do the markings.
The bakery itself is about somewhere on the centre of town. So the north to south road is slightly over towards the west hand side of the town. It kind of comes in almost centre, a bit on the west, and then goes slightly towards the west as it comes down. There's a larger side to the east of the town itself. So it's split kind of almost like a 40-60 sort of thing from that crossroads. And the east side of town is the kind of cheaper part. That's where you found that school and the houses that were kind of more made out of wood and stuff like that. That was where you was originally exploring, where the family went missing. So that's kind of like the cheaper end. And yeah, so the bakery itself would sit about roughly centre, but it doesn't seem prominent in any sense. There is nothing there. The prominence of the town is further down towards the docks, where the main market area is, the Wyvern Inn, the trade guild, all them sort of things. That's all the things that are around that square. That's the prominent area of town. But in terms of middle of the town, that crossroads is not far. The crossroads is where the 2 roads meet. If you go slightly east of it, you end up about the bakery. So that is kind of somewhere in the centre of town. But that could just be coincidence.
I still feel like we're missing something.
Sure, you're missing many things.
So these were coordinated attacks.
A DM advice to players. You're going to go watch all the videos now. There is things that I've been dropping that are hints and information and stuff. There is definitely stuff that I'm on purposely doing. So either give you information or to point you in a direction or something, but they're not obvious.
Please don't make us go back and watch all the videos.
You don't have to, no. You don't have to. You don't have to. What I'm saying to you is there is stuff that I'm dropping. So the fact that Candy's making notes and stuff like that, do any of them things help? Maybe not. But there is definite stuff that I'm putting in that could potentially lead to something. And other things I completely make up on the spot. So you're kind of milling around this kind of bakery area. Is there any intent after that? Any ideas what you're doing next?
Looking for food that's not been burnt in a fire.
I'm looking for something that shouldn't be in the that would not be in the bakery, Brad.
I'd say you and Fenton are inside. Fenton is looking for bread and finds bread. Some nice bread. It's not the most fancy bakery. Yeah, you found some. Well, yeah, they're definitely a bit more crispy than they should be, but they're not burnt in any sense. The whole bakery itself didn't come down, only that kind of corner, as it were.
I asked the bakery lady if she's got any butter.
She's not there. They're not there. The family not there.
Oh, I don't steal anything then. If they're not there, I'm not taking anything.
Yeah, I'm looking for something that you wouldn't expect to be in a bakery. And also if there's a sort of a basement area.
There is no basement to the bakery.
Sure. Yeah.
The storage of all the flour and all this kind of stuff is kind of more to the back end. That didn't get caught, so their stocks are actually kind of still there in that sort of sense. So their hope is that they can rebuild and get back up in business soon enough, sort of thing. Yeah, it definitely didn't seem. There is still a chance it could be diversion. But at the same time, there is a chance it can just be random spot. There's no definite.
They're trying to cut off a food source. I don't know.
And where are the owners of this property?
They are elsewhere now. You don't know. They've been moved.
Do we know it was on that boat?
No, the only thing you knew was Levi said that it was like a small trade vessel that comes from just down the coast. There are some small villages just down the coast that you know of, Keith. Belgarian would know that.
I wonder if it's food that they're trading in.
Aha, a rolling pin. Very suspicious. We have a clue.
I'm afraid, Leo, that's definitely going to be here.
Belgarian knows, particularly because your kind of main base of operations, as it were, is in that general direction. So if you went from your base through the mountains, well, not through the mountains, there's like a pass essentially.
Yeah.
There is a small town there called Pebble Bay, which you know of, which is a small fishing village essentially. So you presume that when he was talking trade, you think that it was like some sort of fishing vessel trader merchant sort of thing that was on his way up here. He would generally stay quite close to the coast in the smaller boat. So you think that's what it was.
Could I be right? That they're trying to cut off food supplies?
They're the only two things that were that does possibly hold some merit. The rest of them were guards that were attacked, so that kind of doesn't necessarily fully add up. But yeah, there's potential something there.
I don't know, clutch at straws.
My mind's gone blank now.
Okay, I'll step in and assist.
Okay,
I'll step in and assist as DM.
Where's this? What's his name? Balasar. Where is he?
He was out doing something for Levi.
Last time you saw him was Belgarian speaking to him at the point when you'd just come out yesterday afternoon, something out of things. That was the last time you saw him. Levi mentioned he sent him for something.
He sent him for something, but he didn't tell us what that thing is.
No, it was like whatever his plans were, what he's trying to sort out. It sounds like Levi's trying to attempt many things. So rather than tell you what they all are, he's just going to see which one comes back as the better option or the can-do option sort of thing. And potentially Balasar is one of them.
Okay.
Or nothing to do with. Okay, so you guys are loitering around this bakery. You're trying to find information. I'd say about an hour passes what with Fenton trying to look at bread and deciding whether he wants to steal it or not. Having a little bit of his wine to test it.
No. I'm saving the wine because I realise it's too expensive, so I've kept saving that for later.
Saving that for a good time.
Yeah, I'm not going to chug it like an animal.
I'd say others of you are
3 weeks ago might have done.
Others of you are trying to search around to kind of get a prominence on wells and locations and stuff. And Leo, you're kind of looking inside to see if there's anything sticks out. No basement, nothing like that. Yeah, but as I say, about an hour goes past of you all kind of milling about this area, trying to find out whatever you can. Nothing's really coming up. It just feels like a standard bakery. You don't, as I said, there is nothing that points to whether it is a target for any reason. As I said, about an hour goes past, and one or two of you notice back the way you came in the crossroads. You notice the scouts of Elkinshaw wear like a leather kind of armor that has kind of blue dyed and has like a green shimmer, which is similar to the plated type stuff that Balasar wears. As you notice, one or two of you notice that a few of them are coming rushing in, kind of thing. And as they come rushing in, you notice one of them's hooded, turns and looks down, stands there a minute, looks down in your direction, and starts walking down to you guys. And then all of a sudden, he kind of takes about, it takes kind of like about 20 feet kind of in your direction just to kind of look. And then he looks like he's peering at you. And then he takes down his hood and you can see that it is Balasar. He's not wearing he's wearing a scout's kind of armor. And he's been looking at you for at least a minute now, and then he realizes it's you and he's waving at you to come over.
Oh, we go over.
We go over. Yeah.
We go over.
He says, as you kind of come up to him, he looks slightly out of breath as if he's been running. He says, I need you guys with me now. We've got a plan. And then he immediately just starts running off down the main road.
Shield up.
Help you out. He was all getting a bit stuck.
Yeah.
Captain America, shield out, run after him.
It's probably a far away before you get to anything at this point. So, you're all fairly good in terms of speed. You're all fairly fast in that sense. So you all kind of run around the corner. You run with Balasar. Again, he's about the same speed as you guys. He runs a bit faster to catch up with the others. You kind of keep up with him, I'm guessing. As you catch up to the rest of the scouts, they are kind of very swiftly walking. And you can see that there is at least 4 of them are holding this big heavy crate. It's a crate that's about 2 feet across, about 1.5 foot across, and there's about 1 foot deep. And it looks fairly heavy because it's taken 4 of them. You can see their muscles kind of strained, but they're still kind of marching very heavy with it. And as you kind of start to make your way down this road, so there's the crossroads, and you're making your way down towards the docks kind of area. Balasar is essentially saying to you, we have a plan. I don't know if you've spoken with Levi. He's sent me to go and essentially get something that can potentially deal with these rats. But I don't know if we can pull it off. I'll explain more when we get there, but we're essentially going to where I first met you guys down in the cave. Okay. And then I'll explain further once we get down there. Right now, we just need to get down there. The best I can tell you is that we've got some magical, useful items that are going to probably make or break this situation. But we've got to get it to work. So let's just get there, and I'll fill you in on the rest of the details. So you guys are walking along at a very swift pace with the rest of them. Is there anything you guys want to do in regards to that? You know you're currently headed towards their caves area.
I've got my mage armor on. So
yeah, I'm going to mage armor as well.
Yeah, any spells anyone wants to do beforehand, that's perfectly fine. You've got 10 minutes before you even walk down to where the dock area is as such. Takes you a few minutes to get there. Anything else anyone wants to do?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do detect faults, mate.
Go back.
I want to know exactly. Yep.
Brad, I do armor of Agathis.
How long does that last?
An hour.
Okay, cool. Chris, your detect faults fails on him. It just fails. You attempt it, and you know it doesn't hit him as such.
Okay.
You don't know why, but it doesn't seem to affect him. Not
All right.
that he didn't say anything. You know it didn't kind of go into his head. As such, you didn't make it that far. You got stopped by something.
Dickhead, that's why. Right, let me mark that off.
Head guard, Chris. This is the head guard.
Yeah, so then care who he is, Brad.
Nothing strange.
My job is to protect my party, and we would like to know what we're heading into. So
you get to do that once a day, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I've marked it off, mate.
Okay, so that counts as a thing because that's what I'm saying. You did it, and it's something it doesn't work in that sense. You know that you know you used it, but it doesn't work. You get nothing from it.
I've ticked it off, mate, as I've lost it now. Cool.
Anything else that anyone wants to try and do?
Yeah, guarding bolt on him.
I'll make sure I got Saber with me.
Back up and working. He's with you.
Cool.
Anything else? We're gonna make it to the
I get some magic stones ready.
I tie my hair back.
I'm gonna, eat these cakes I stashed.
Yeah.
Next to Fenton.
Munching as you go.
Yeah.
Swiftly walking and munching. Okay.
And I'm going to leave Lady outside.
Outside of the cave system, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this. I can't. Even if you are actually on this map. Yes, you are. You're all there. Right. Can you all see where you are on the map?
Yep.
I'm potentially going to move where you are on the map. So.
I'm actually still loading at the moment.
So, as you're now running,
I'm assuming I've got light source on my head, on my hat.
Who is it who gives you that?
Yes, mate. You can have it.
Yep. Cheers, mate.
No worries.
That's an hour, essentially, probably from when you walk into the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not there.
Right,
Back here, so. Fenton, you go up there, man.
Yeah, Fenton go before me. Go next to Saber.
He wants to be at the back. Look, Fenton.
I don't have ones with bows, so I'm going to use these.
Is there anything wrong with Balthazar? Does he look like as we would expect him to look like?
It's a trap.
Yeah, he looks like himself. He looks a bit worn down on anything. He looks like he's been running a fair old bit to get into town, kind of thing. You presume he's been running, and then probably a bit thankful for the fact that you slowed down to a fast walk as such.
Why are you wearing the wrong armour, Balthazar?
Because I'm trying to blend in with the scouts. I'm not trying to point out who I am. I'm trying to go on essentially something that I've been told to do. Let's put it this way. You're at the front, and you can tell that the guards, especially the four carrying the thing, they're all behind you. You've kind of all made it up to him, and you guys and him are going in first. The guards numbering about 20 of the scouts that are at the back.
20 altogether.
About 20 of the scouts, and then Balasar. And all the scouts are wearing this armor, and Balasar is wearing the same armor, except he's got an additional hood. And you're up the front with him, and he kind of looks back over to the other scouts. And he says, Fenton, I shouldn't really be telling you, but we've had some dealings with the Monverdad. You know the Monverdad are the Inquisition of the Roscoe Empire. Belgarian, you also know that the Wisdom Seekers and the Monverdad, the Inquisition, essentially work in tandem. One of them is a peaceful find a solution, find information. The other one is the strong, secretive assassin type thing. They work together to keep the
Mom and Dad were the ones that took my captain.
Yes.
Weren't they?
Yes. But you don't know what relevance that has with this.
Yeah, but he's just said he's working with them.
Yes, he just said to you, that's who Levi essentially managed to get the magic items from that we've got to be able to go and do this.
Hold on, Belf.
And like I said,
you're working with the Mom for Dad.
I work with whoever get the job done, pretty much. My job is to
secure the town. I thought you worked for the city.
And my job is to secure the town for the city. And if this is going to do it, then this is what I'm doing. What's your issue with the Inquisition? The Inquisition is a widely known thing, Fenton. It is a secretive thing, but it's widely known that they exist and that generally people don't ask what they do, sort of thing. It's a kind of understanding we won't ask what you do.
They
are, you know that they are very important to the Empire in terms of its safety. Like, even though you know they've got him, that's very much a eyebrow raise as to why have they got him. But that doesn't necessarily mean that instantly the Inquisition is bad. You don't know why they've got him as such. The Inquisition, you already know before this of the Inquisition and the how they are crucial in the defense of the Empire as such. As does Keith very much so, because Keith works alongside them.
If this was a video game and my faction has gone from with Balthazar has gone from very trusting to has dropped down 1 or 2 levels now.
Suspicious.
You can insight check him if you like.
Yeah, Fenton's not gonna. He's not subtle enough to. It will take. He takes people for, as they say.
Yeah.
I know who the Monkey Dad is.
Not really.
Yeah,
probably. Just
I guess I wouldn't either.
No, you
would I read about
the only major 2 who know about them is Belgarian, because Belgarian works for the Wisdom Seekers, and they are, as I said, they're essentially 2 halves that make up the defense of the Roscoe Empire. Like I said, Keith's half is the information, peace talk, diplomacy. They are the assassination, secretive, what other words I want to use, I can't think of, but they're essentially 2 parts there, the good and the bad of the defense of the Roscoe Empire.
Could you please spell the groups?
Huh?
Spell the group names. Monty Dad's, whatever it was. Please. Because I've wrote it down, it looks like Moff Me Dad.
It's a very clever play on words. I'll let you guys figure out what the play on words is. Part another language. It was very clever when I found it. I was like, oh yeah, I like that. It's essentially 2 words that make up one thing. It's in the thingy. That's what the spelling of it is.
In the what, sorry?
It's in the chat in Foundry.
In Foundry.
That's the
I don't say anything like Brad, and I've continued foreign on.
Yeah, like I said, you know Fenton, that these are people you've seen before. You have seen them. You know, it's not like you don't know they exist and stuff like that. You know that they're around. You know that they're, like I said, assassins and things like that. But you know that their purpose is not necessarily dark. Their purpose is in defense of the Roscoe Empire. You've heard of what they've done before and stuff like this. You know you wouldn't want to mess with them. You know you wouldn't want to get caught up with them. So that's why you're worried about your leader being in their hands, because you know of the kind of tales of if they've got you in that sense, then they need something from you, sort of thing. So you're very much concerned, but the actual Inquisition itself is not something like, as I'm saying, even though they are a dark kind of entity in itself, they have very much a purpose, and their purpose has served a lot of good. So
and the other group, the Inquisition.
Yeah.
So yeah, so as I said, he's chatting to you as you go along. He seems concerned with the fact that you're concerned with what he's got. But he's essentially said Levi has sent him on this to do it. He's already said to you that Levi sent him on this mission to go and get this. You don't know whether the fact he's wearing a hood and not wearing his armor and the fact he's gone as a scout is because he's meeting someone secretive. You're not sure why he's essentially dressed as a scout. That part isn't really clear. But at the same time, he's very capable. You would imagine if he had no armor, he'd still be fairly capable. You've seen him fight. He's very good.
Yes.
Anyone else want to check anything else out? So you're currently running through these caves.
Mm-hmm.
And the 20 or so scouts are kind of just behind you. Sorry if you can hear my cat.
What's the atmosphere like? Is it tense or
it's tense. They feel like they're on?
Are the scouts? Are they like?
They're all they're calm in a sense. They all look like they're a bit worn out, like they've run a long distance. You know that you saw him yesterday, so for him to have got anywhere, potentially, he would have been running a long time. You don't even know if he slept at this point. It's hard to tell. He's a Dragonborn. It's not exactly wrinkles that easily tell you if he's not slept well. So, although that sense the gods do look tired, you don't know how much they've run, but you do know that Balasar was last seen yesterday, so he's had a whole day, nearly, to be able to go somewhere to do something. And
potentially, how far could he get in 24 hours if you put there and back again?
You don't know the locations around as much, but say, for instance, you're asking that question, others in the group, such as Belgarian and stuff, would tell you that there's definitely guard towers, keep type things that they would be able to access in that time.
Right, okay.
Brad?
There's a few of them not too far away, type of barracky type royal things and stuff like that. Yes,
Brad, I would carry on with my sort of detect faults situation. I'd like to inside check him. What's his name again? Balasar. And I'm going to guide myself as well, if that's okay.
You?
Just to see, just trusting him and just seeing if he's bullshitting us.
Yeah.
There's no trust there, is there?
No.
Hey, I didn't trust Levi. I had to do an insight check against him.
He's not very forthcoming about what it is we're supposed to be doing. I ask you,
that's 28,
what are we doing?
Mate. That's 28 on insight.
28.
Yep.
Yeah. He as 28, he seems very determined with what he's supposed to do and very convinced in what Levi has sent him to do. You don't think this is you get the impression that he's slightly nervous about what he has to do, as if this is not something he normally does, but you kind of get the impression that he's very intent that this should work on information he's been told, kind of thing. That's what you're getting from him.
Okay.
So
and from trustworthy way, I feel good trust with him and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, there's a bit of optimism almost from him in the sense that this could make it so that many people may not have to die, sort of thing. You're getting this sense of optimism from him.
Okay.
Is it one of these situations where one dies for the good of the others? Because I feel like there's a sacrifice going on here.
No, we have to get there first. Let out all the secrets immediately.
Okay, I feel a bit more better about this. So yeah, I just shout out to Fenton. Fenton, focus.
So, what have you tried to speak to him telepathically?
Who?
Balasar.
No.
For the greater good.
No, okay. I just wanted to check because that was different from the other thing. Yeah. Okay. So, is there anything else anyone wants to do? So you're making your way through the caves at the moment. Oh, go on, David. You said this.
I was just asking him what exactly we're doing here. As we're walking, what are we doing? What's the plan?
He doesn't seem to want to tell you just yet. You don't know why. And he says, once we're there, I'll explain it fully to you. And I'm going to need your help. And hopefully we do this quick enough before it all comes down on us. That's pretty much all he says in terms of walking along with you. He doesn't really... It doesn't feel like he's trying to not tell you. It feels like he's just determined to get there so he can hurry up and get it done.
I just want to ask him...
He's very much rushing to get there.
If it's good magic or dark magic.
It's more utility that's going to help us. Well, I'll explain in a minute. As you're kind of going and you're both asking him questions, he's pointing at the guards and he's pointing at the scouts. And every now and again, you see him, he points at scouts. And as you're making your way through these caves, you see 2 or 3 scouts branch out and go different directions, sort of thing, as if he's pointing for some... You don't know what the plan is as such, but he's essentially... Or you can see him pointing to the guards and they just disappear off in different directions, these scouts, sort of thing. The scouts themselves all do look very capable. They're all, as I said, they're wearing that kind of armor, but as they disappear very quickly, kind of thing. You kind of get the sense that these are clearly scouts. Like you just watching them disappear very quickly, you get the sense that they are scouts, as it were. These are not just random people. These are scouts. They disappear very quickly when he points. And you do know this is the uniform of the scouts. You've seen some of the other scouts. There's a particular one scout. He's not here now, but there's one other scout that he's had a few other times with him. Who, as I said, there's 2 other ones, and one of them is a scout. So you have seen these uniforms and these scouts before. Right. So as I said, a few of them, quite a lot of them, as you making your way through and weaving through, there's different points when different ones of them kind of break off. You then get through into the main room. So
isn't that the room we found the bodies in and met them in?
Yeah, this is that big room that you kind of keep rushing into, sort of thing. There's Balasar. So Balasar now says to you, right, shh. And he starts slowing down, starts walking very quietly. And there is almost now a sense in that the fact he's now sneaking. He's not properly sneaking. I'm not going to roll for him, but you can tell he's now aiming to be quiet, which kind of stacks up with the fact he's not wearing his armor. As in, he's been a lot quieter than he could have been in the big armor. Phantoms, you're definitely realizing he's a lot better off than you now in terms of sneaking. Most of the other scouts have now gone off in different directions all around them caves you've just left. You still have the 4 scouts with you that are holding the big box behind you lot, and Balasar is essentially in front of you. And he's kind of thinking, he's now kind of ushering you to kind of almost slow down and kind of walk carefully. So does everyone want to kind of follow his lead?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ready to roll?
No, I'm not going to roll a stealth check unless I need it. At this point, I'm not going to roll it. If I need it, then I'll roll it. Otherwise, I might have to roll it multiple times. I haven't got the guards on me. Alright, so you guys are sneaking up. Oh, look, there's a saber. That's handy. I'm not moving you in a particular marching order. It doesn't really matter at this point. You're just going to kind of get there. If I was going to jump you, I'd move you in the thingy thing. Alright, so as you guys kind of... Balasar's kind of ahead of you, and you're all making your way in. Again, similar noises of the water around you, other stuff like that. You feel like it might be slightly hiding Fenton, who seems to be making a bit more of a clinky noise behind you, but you're all trying your best to kind of go along without making too much noise. The scouts behind you almost seem like they disappear in the sense that once they start to walk quietly, you forget they're there. But they're still walking.
Is it just literally Balasar and the scouts now, the 4.
Balasar and 4 scouts. Yeah. The rest of them have all gone off in different directions as you was on your way here. So you essentially make your way in through the room, and as you do, you look over, and the northern bit where you go through, this bit over here, you can see my ping. Yeah, you can see my ping.
Nope.
No.
Can you not see this ping?
We're walking over there now. We're not there yet.
Oh, I haven't moved your maps, I don't think. You're on the...
Yeah, we're still on the...
There you go. I'm sorry, I must have viewed it myself. I was on the other map. I moved already. So you should all now be on that sewer map with the water running through
guards,
it.
no. The guards ain't in here, Brad. You got to bring the guards over.
No, I said that I haven't put a guard in there.
Oh, okay, right.
Going to explain things that are going on and stuff.
That makes more sense then.
You might want to get rid of those double tokens.
Yeah.
Because me and Adam came across.
Can we hop that?
Oh, I see. Okay, I can do that.
Matrix.
Oh, yeah. Oh. There you go. Hang on.
I'm still
I didn't
there,
realize you were all still walking around in there. I moved you over, but I obviously clicked to move myself over and no one else. Next time you can look at the top. You see the little name letters at the top. That tells you who's in what map. You would have seen it disappear.
I've got an error token collide. Remove me, Brad, please.
Huh?
I'm still in the other map as well.
You're still in the other map. Where?
Yeah. Oh, 2 tokens.
Didn't move over. Oh, I see. You've got that one. Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. One in a minute. So as I said, you've all made your way in, following Balasar, all trying to be quiet. As I said, at this point, I'm not gonna make you roll a stealth roll unless I need a stealth roll, because otherwise, as I said, that would potentially mean you have to make multiple stealth rolls. And what you gather from Balasar is that he's trying to make not much noise. So again, I'm going to ping. So up the top here to the north, can you now see my ping?
Yep.
Good. Okay, so that big gate thing that has opened before, as you walk in, that is already open. And as you kind of start making your way in, you see Balasar turns around, looks at the scouts kind of through you guys, and he turns around and he kind of does a bit of a hand signals and points in the middle of the room, as if he's kind of pointing at the floor. And then he looks over at you guys who've all started wandering off, particularly you, and as you start walking off, and he kind of gives you a symbol of like look around. But you hear him quietly whispering in your direction. Don't go too far. And as you guys start to move around, you notice that all of these are open. All of these big grates, they are all open. So right now, all of them are open. You can see down them, but he's telling you not to go too far away. He's basically just kind of pointed to you and said, look around, just as if to check this area. Make sure nothing's here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, as you're looking around, Fenton, are you moving around, Fenton, or?
I stay near him.
Okay, you can see what he's doing now. He's got the other guards, and they've put the box on the floor, and one of them's got a kind of crowbar, and they're kind of crowbarring the box open and pulling the lid off. Are you near enough to be looking right? Are you right up with him, sort of thing?
I'm where I am.
Okay, you're kind of fairly there. They're kind of all around. They're kind of here, sort of thing. Like just past Balasar is where they're uncovering this box. So as they start uncovering the box, there's like material in it that they seem to unwrap and pull over.
Don't want to be too close to the box.
And I'd say that you could probably see it from there, Fen. And the inside is large metallic objects. You can't quite see what they are. It looks like long metal bars from where you're standing, about as big as the crate. That's roughly what you can see in the crate, but it does look like it's probably heavy. So Balasar then kind of looks up and looks around at you lot to see if you've seen anything. And he just kind of looks at you individually to see if any of you are going to give him any sort of signal.
I haven't seen nothing. Nope. I'll wait to say no.
There's a pile of bones here, Brad. What's that?
That's pretty much just gone. That was the very original fight as such.
Okay.
You burnt them and everything, so it's just a scorch mark on the floor with some bones by now. Just rotted. Fairly recent rotted because it wasn't that long ago, but yeah, that's what that was.
Okay.
So does anyone kind of signal to him anything else? He's basically looking at you to determine that the area is free or not.
Yeah, I can't see anything. I've had a good walk round.
So, if any of you did any of you where did you go and how far did you go into tunnels? Did anyone go into them tunnels at any point?
No.
I mean, I think I sent Oscar in a little bit, but
you did, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that the left and top tunnel, you know that goes off to an area that has some light down it?
Mm-hmm.
The bottom tunnel is completely dark, and the top right tunnel goes off the direction you've already been before.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll relay that.
So he's now, once you've all kind of looked about, he's essentially saying, come back over kind of thing to the centre. So he's just waiting for you all to come over.
The guard there, isn't there?
Is this where I done the misty step to open one of the tunnels?
Yeah.
One of the grates?
Yeah.
Right, so you're all gathering back up in the middle?
Yep.
Yep.
He's kind of giving you hand signals to kind of come in.
Mm-hmm.
As you all come in, he says to you, you all now look into this box. You all kind of come over. The 4 scouts are there. Belisar's kind of next to the crate as well. As you now can all kind of come back over, you look in, and what you see in the box is about the length of the box, about 1.5 foot long, is a very thick, very heavy, looking like a tuning fork, massive tuning fork, essentially. And you see Belisar pick one up, and as he picks one up, you can see they're heavy, and he starts handing them to the scouts. And as he starts handing them to the scouts, he starts explaining to you.
1 foot long, did you say?
Huh?
1 foot long.
About 1.5 foot, that was big. They're fairly big and chunky. They're not like a tuning fork would be for an instrument or anything like that. They're booby kind of thing, sort of thing. Much bigger and scaled than you would imagine one should need to be.
And chunky? Chunky?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're made out of metal and they're big and chunky. It looks like you've got to hit it hard to actually make it. You know, a tuning fork is essentially the 2-pronged thing which you hit and goes wong, wong. They're essentially massive, big ones of them that are big weighty sort of things. You imagine you're going to have to hit it hard to make that thing actually thing. But as you look in the box, there's a lot of them. So as he starts handing them, he pulls one out, puts it on the floor next to him, and he starts handing them out to the guards. As he starts handing them out to the guards, he starts explaining to you. He says, these are the instruments we've been given to essentially try and put this right. Once we start doing this, they're going to know something's going on, and we need to do it quick. And if we don't do it quick, there's going to be a lot of them on us, and that's why I wanted you guys here, because you know what's coming. I've moved the scouts off, but they're ready to come in at any point. I've already ordered that if they hear any noise, hence why I'm not making any. If they hear any noise, they're all going to come charging back in. This is essentially a big magical tuning fork. I've been off and managed to pick these up, and I've been told how I'm supposed to use them. I'm not. You've already seen. I'm a fighter. I'm not. I know nothing of the arcane, but they've told me what I'm supposed to do. So. At this point, he's now getting to the point where he's starting to hand them to you guys. Are you going to take basically one?
I'll take one.
There's enough each. There's
I'll take one.
There's about there's somewhere in the realm of about 25 of them. In there.
Considering I'm arcane, would I have an inkling of what he's going to do?
You can preempt it's something to do with sound, being that these are tuning forks and they're very big.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know specifically. But he carries on now, and he says to you, he says, with these instruments, we're going to use these to essentially flush out all of the rats in one go. And if this works, we hopefully get rid of all of them. And
where will they go?
If they're not here, then they're not a problem for us.
Okay.
Once they leave here, if they leave here, the aim is to get rid of them all together. But I only know how this works with what they've told me. We'll see the effects afterwards. So he's still handing them out to you. And now he's kind of reaching into like a bag he's got on his side. And he pulls out some scrolls. And he's like, I've got some scrolls here. What's going to happen here is we are going to use these big devices on all the pipes. And he points around. And as you look around, you can see all these different pipes around this room you're in. There's lots of them. They're up on the wall. Some of them are down floor. A lot of them are big, but there's some smaller ones, sort of stuff. These are the similar sort of pipes you've been seeing in different areas. And he's like, I've been assured this is not going to cause an earthquake, but these should react the water around this area. I've got the magic that's supposed to make these work, and he kind of shows you the scrolls. And he says, if this works, as I said, it's going to flush them all out. But as I said, if it doesn't work, we're going to get them all on us. And at that point, we just got to get out. I don't know what happens after that. What we need to do is we need to space out. I'm going to give each one of you one of these forks. And basically what I need is, and not until my command do we go. Basically what I'm going to do is all of us are going to take one of these and we are going to be whacking them against the pipes as hard as we can. And it's going to make one hell of a noise, at which point we've alarmed them. That's why they're all going to start coming for us. As in, you're going to hear this from a long way away. While you're doing that, I've got these spells that I'm supposed to read. And then they are going to activate this noise to essentially do something with the water to flush them out. This is the most I know. I'm going with Levi's sources, and I trust Levi. Do you guys trust me? Because if this goes wrong, as I said, they're all going to come down on our heads.
Sounds like fun.
Can I do an Arcana check on the fork to judge if I think it's going to work?
Yeah, go on then.
Nope.
What? Yeah.
10.
10, you're unsure. You're unsure. You can definitely see that this is going to make some noise. That's for sure.
Sure.
Can I try the same?
Yeah, you can try the same. I'll kind of check.
12 plus 7, 19.
Okay, the most you can probably, you can't tell whether this is going to work or not, but what you can ascertain is that these are finely made tuning forks. Even though they're big and heavy, they're not just made out of steel. You're not sure what they're made out of, but they're definitely, there's definitely craftsmanship in how these have been made. They're very well kind of made tuning forks, which you'd imagine they have to be to do the sonic kind of thing that they're essentially going to do. You can see that they're finely made. You can tell that much in terms of Arcana wise. In terms of instruments, Arcana instruments, these do seem like instruments that would be capable of channeling magic in some way. You don't know if it's, you can't tell, there's nothing markings on the actual tuning fork, but you can't tell if it's the fork that has the magic or the magic that he's about to do. You can't tell quite what's going to happen in that sense. So you didn't roll high enough to know anything more specific in terms of whether it's going to work or whether it's not going to work.
What is the magic he's going to do, Brad?
Say again?
What is the magic he's going to do? Go look at one of the scrolls.
He doesn't show you the scrolls.
Brad, sorry mate, I'm going to have to shoot now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Probably get up from next time.
Right, so we can probably finish it here, can't we?
Yeah, it may go long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather start fighting on a new session.
Yeah.
No, indeed. I was thinking, how far can I get into it? But yeah, no, that's cool.
That's a good.
Can we just get positioned, ready?
Yeah, I was going to say, give me 1 minute, Stuart. I'll just try and finalise the point. So effectively, he's handed you out all of these different tuning forks, and he's basically now saying to you, I need you to separate as far as you can go in different directions, because we need to make as much kind of noise. The Arcanist, you guys in terms of Arcana, and you, David, essentially know that he's talking about the noise is probably what's going to make the magic go, so you need to make as much noise as possible with these, but over across as much distance as possible. That's what he's been told. You're gathering that he's been told, make as much noise as you can in a big distance for these to work.
So even like this pipe that I'm standing at here?
Yes, and potentially further. At this point is when Balasar essentially says to you, I need at least 2 of you, or 1 of you, 3 of you. I need a few of you to take some of these back to the guards, and I need you guys further back into them tunnels.
I'll run them round because I'm quick.
No, he's saying he needs some of you to go in there to actually help also bang in there, because he's just saying to you that I don't know what's in these tunnels. He points at the other big tunnels and says, I don't want to go in there and do it, but we need to go as far as we can. So if we go back that way, if a few of you take some of these back to the gods in there and you do the same in there, then we should be able to cover a big enough distance that we're going to make enough noise that this is going to work. Any volunteers? I only need 1, 2, 3, whatever.
I can do it.
Who wants to go?
I can take Sammy. I can take Saber.
Well, he doesn't need all of you. He only needs 1, 2, or 3 of you at most. He needs some of you here. So either 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, Sammy's probably a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you've got Saber with you.
I'll go with Sammy.
You and Sammy. So Quandra and Sammy are going to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you kind of say, we'll go, he essentially hands you like another 4 of the big tuning forks, which Sammy, you probably hold.
Yeah.
He looks at first at Quandra and goes, and then looks to you and then kind of hands it to him.
Yeah.
Quite heavy as well. So kind of
I'm stronger than I look.
He's being polite. And he says, listen for my shout. As soon as I shout, make as much noise as you can. Hit everything you can that's going to make as much noise. Because as soon as I start with these scrolls, we make this work based on if we make enough noise.
Okay,
and
cool.
Because we're making that much noise, if it fails, all of them are coming for us.
Well, see you on the other side, guys.
So essentially, you two are going to go back the other way with the forks. And he's basically telling you guys to split up. So you 4 that's remaining, split up and find areas somewhere around here.
Yeah. I first go to Leo and say, can I have some light?
I don't know if we can do light for you.
You can't.
You've already done the one for David, so you're going to have to use...
I use up 2 key points and give him dark vision.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, Stu, I'm just about done.
This way you wanted us, back here. You put us where you want us to go.
Yeah.
We follow your instructions.
You guys are going back into the other tunnel, so what I'm essentially just going to do with you is I'm going to group you 3 up. I'm going to take you from there. And I'm going to leave you there for now. Next week, I'm going to put you 2 on the other map.
Okay.
And then these 4 will be on this map, so I'm going to use across 2 maps, which you can do. Yeah, so find an area. He's essentially said, find an area, spread out as far as you can. Before next time, we start again next time, I'll put the guards on here as well, so you can see where they are and see if you want to move. But essentially, find a pipe.
Oh,
why can't I come out of this pipe, Brad?
Because there's a door on it.
Oh,
I trapped you.
Yeah, I did trap you. Just open all the doors.
I want to go to...
Okay, you essentially walk through the door, you can't walk out. Yeah, that one you're in, Chris, you can see north of you is the one that Quinn told you is where the light is coming from, about 100 feet down towards kind of left.
Yeah, I'm going in there, mate. I'm going to go
in. Be careful how far you go, because obviously you're about to start making a lot of noise, which means you're right near where potentially, if this goes wrong, you're right near where they're going to come streaming out of. At least one of the places they could come streaming out of.
I don't really want to do this at all. I want to stand back.
And that's pretty much it. So we're going to leave it there till next week.